Here's hoping we can actually play some of this game today. I would have started earlier, but let me tell you, yesterday, after we ended stream very suddenly, it just ended up being incredibly eventful for the rest of the day. And this morning, I just needed quiet. I just needed it to be quiet and for nothing to be happening and for me to just be existing on my own. So we're waiting. We waited until now to do this, but just hoping we can actually play more of this game because I'm excited. I want to play more of this. I really like what we've seen so far. Excuse me while I just put lotion on. It's a little warm today, but it started cooling down, and therefore we're entering dry weather season. Yeah. So we played a little bit yesterday. I think we're just gonna reload from where we started because it's just we didn't really get that far and nothing really happened. So as soon as my hands stop being vaguely greasy from lotion, we'll go ahead and start up. Yeah. Let's go. Y'all ready for this? We talked about it yesterday. While we play, we're not gonna use face cam, because reasons. There's no good place for me to put it, is the main thing. So we're gonna continue. Not from this one though, actually. We're gonna go from here. So like I said, we didn't really get that far. Nothing. We had some things happen, but we were just so constantly interrupted by all the fucking noise. That, you know, honestly, kind of missed some of the stuff. We met a funny little guy, and that was cool. And I got a knife out of a table. That's about all. Let's meet that funny little guy again. Me, when I'm dehydrated.
Hello, Thomasina.
What is this? Who are you?
I'm the one that saved your father.
What do you mean?
You were here 25 years ago.
My father?
You were deep down with the others. You were there, and something went wrong. I dragged him out.
Impossible.
I helped him then, and I can help him again.
I don't understand.
Believe my words. You'll find proof in morning. Now go. One more thing. This is not a dream.
I don't know. Kinda seemed like a dream.
Goodness, that was a terrible sleep.
Mood. Sorry, I have to move my microphone around real fast. I also need to check some sound settings real quick. So apologies there while we do that. Bye. Hold on a second. If I do that, how much louder is that? Is that too loud? Is that too horrible? One moment, please. Like, I don't know why. But with using my new headphones, I've noticed that there are some issues with the sound that we're doing. That looks like it's fine. Okay. Here's hoping that the game is not too loud. Hold on. Okay. Cool. Thank you for thank you for your patience. Can I take this bowl
I
with
don't
me
wish
now?
to carry the bowl around with me.
Oh.
Curses! I forgot I had this worm in my pocket. Poor thing is dead now. Rest in peace, Kenneth.
No!
I've had this for years. It's looking like it could break at any moment, really. What's
Tragic.
this? There's a strange stone strapped to the cover.
There's a chicken. Day 1. Arrived after a decent day's ride from Bakewell. This is a curious place. Locals seem distant. I'm to meet my local contact tomorrow, so it will be an early night for me. I shall try to keep a diary of my stay here and not give up by day 3 of the excavation as usual. Despite the thrill of possible new discoveries, I cannot stop thinking about my dear wife and wonder if I should have left her in her current state. I must have faith that she will conquer this bout of illness. Sorry, one more thing that I have to do. Apologies. Okay, let's do that. There we go. True to form, this is what, day 4? True to form, my journal has been abandoned. Let that not speak for the excitement I feel for the excavation. After much preparation, we dig tomorrow. Sneeze. Excuse me. Such an exceptional site with a unique history. As for the dangers, we shall meet them head first. We are prepared. I also sought out a local wise woman yesterday, and she provided me with a tincture for my beloved's nausea gravidarum. I am sure she shall be pleased with it upon my return. Lo, a place of miracles! A planted seed sprouted before our eyes and illuminated our path. Nature's laws hold no meaning here, but I clutch my tablet with the knowledge that it shall end this. We found the code was simply in the singularity of the characters. All eyes must face towards the 7th Arcanatic. When the sun and the 2 moons meet, the guardian shall be defeated. A dead language reveals the path, for thou art the moon, the chief of the stars. Listen to the things that I have said. Follow the words of my mouth. Reveal thyself to me. I heard a whisper, not once, again and again. I will pour out my spirit. I will pour out my spirit. I will pour out my spirit. This seems fine.
It appears to be a journal, full of hogwash.
She
I don't
really likes that
recognise
word,
the
huh?
handwriting. Maybe Stanley knows more about it.
Good morning. How's your head, Miss Bateman? That were quite the tune you treated us to last night.
To be honest, Stanley, I've felt better. I take it you slid
Hi,
this
Evo.
journal under my door?
I beg your pardon?
The journal, Stanley.
I certainly did no such thing. Nor could have anyone else. You're the only guest staying here.
What's the meaning of all this? Do you propose that it manifested itself out of thin air?
Well,
Yes. No, I trust Stanley.
I'm sorry. I just don't understand how else it could have got there.
Thoughts on the
Are
journal?
you sure there was no one else here overnight?
without doubt.
How very, very peculiar.
So, what does it say inside?
Hi, Fruity. Worm has died. We left Worm in our pocket overnight, and Worm died. I'm so sorry. I think we could go pick up another worm, though, but I'm scared to pick up another worm before knowing what I need worm for, and then worm dying again. Well, I guess, like, I wonder if I could put worm back, actually. There's some worm science to be had. How are you doing?
Take a look.
It's just the one worm I've killed.
Well, I can't make head nor tail of it.
Neither
Nature
can
kills
I.
more worms than I
Maybe
do.
someone else in the village can help you with it.
Tell me about this
What do you make of this stone?
That's a funny looking thing. It's got a cockerel on it.
Yes, but have you seen anything like it?
Never.
Never. I had a weird dream.
Do you ever have strange dreams, Stanley?
Me? I sleep as sound as a baby.
I had one such dream last night. It was so vivid.
What were it about?
I'll explain my dream.
I was at Hobbs Barrow,
Oh?
but everything was different. Great peaks soared in the distance. And there was a creature.
A creature, you say?
Yes.
He was a funny little
a
guy.
short, robed fellow. Eyes as black as pitch. It told me that my father had been there in Hobbs Barrow many years ago, but something went wrong, and the creature helped him escape. It said that I would find proof in the morning.
Oh, the journal. You've had a premonition, lass.
Please, Stanley, I've no time for that nonsense. But I'll admit it's a strange coincidence.
Now, what did I tell you about Hobbs Barrow?
That I should leave it alone?
Aye.
Hogwash.
Your dream reminds me of a story from my childhood. An old folk tale about Hobbs Barrow.
Tell me about this folk tale.
What is this folk tale you mention?
Well, when I were a wee boy, there were talk of a goblin. They say he lived inside Hobbs Barrow, hence the name, Hobbs Barrow. Hob, coming from hobgoblin, of course. Unfortunately,
Maybe that's just
I
his
don't
name.
remember anything else about it.
I was told not to believe in such fairy tales, Stanley.
Don't close your mind to such things, lass. I'm sure Mr. Shoulder will tell you more.
Perhaps, if I ever meet him. Goodbye.
See you soon.
Okay.
Good morning, Mr. Kemp.
Good day, Miss Tompkins.
I'm here for his lordship's paper.
Sorry, lass. Mr. Price hasn't dropped them off this morning. I heard he actually left the village yesterday.
Indeed, I can vouch for that.
Ma'am?
Good day.
Oh dear. His lordship won't be pleased.
My sincerest apologies, Miss Tompkins.
I'll come back in a few days.
No paper for the
Ta-ra.
dick.
Goodbye.
Okay. Before we do that, let's look at this knife. A knife!
Goodness me, I can't budge it.
Be careful, Miss Bateman. You'll cut yourself. I spent all morning trying to get that bloody thing out. I shall be having words with that scoundrel next time he shows his face.
The way she's... I know it's
Curses.
because of the
We
art,
have our very own Excalibur.
but it scares
It's all
me how
yours
she's
if you
grabbing
can
it.
pull it out, King Arthur.
Right. Can you tell me about Miss Tompkins?
Who is Miss Tompkins?
A housemaid in the employ of Panswick Manor. She comes by to pick up his lordship's weekly paper.
I'm surprised newspapers are available in Bewley.
Aye, his lordship gets what he wants.
Tell me about Panswick.
Lord Panswick likes to keep up with affairs from outside of Bewley.
Aye, he has many interests around the country.
What sort of interests?
His lordship's affairs are his own business.
Goodbye.
See you soon.
Alright. Get me out of here.
Right. I need to convince Mr. Bryden to let me excavate Hobbs Barrow and find out where this journal came from.
I also need to do worm
I've just
science.
noticed this matchbox is completely damp from the rain. The match is no use to me anymore.
What did I need that for?
Good day.
I'm still setting up my stall. Come back later.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Hello, Tom. Unfortunately, no. Mrs. Duplancy has not answered for all of for her crimes, for all of the murders that she has committed. We're gonna get her, though. That's also
Good
on the
morning,
list of
Father
things to
Roach.
do.
Ah, Miss Bateman. What a
Make
pleasure to
her
see you again.
pay.
Have you tracked down Mr. Shoulder yet?
Don't get me started.
I'll take that as a no.
Indeed.
Let's ask him about the
Do you
journal.
recognise this journal?
What a tatty old thing. You ought to take better care of your possessions, Miss Bateman.
Rude.
It's not mine.
Then whose is it?
That's precisely what I'm trying to find out.
I'm afraid I can't help you. I haven't seen it before.
How are y'all doing today, by the way? Hello. Talk
What
to
do you
me
make of
about
the
the stone.
I don't recognize the symbol from any Christian iconography. Did you make it yourself?
No, never mind.
Tell me about
What
yourself.
brings you to the square today?
I'm meeting a couple of young congregation members to go over some scripture. You're welcome to join us.
Thank you, Father Roach, but I have quite a busy day ahead of me.
We will be at St. Edmund's, should you wish to join us later.
Thanks for your time.
Lord be with you.
Okay. We need to do a couple of things. First off, worm signs. Oh wait, what's Wally
Hello,
doing here?
Wally.
Go away! You gave the door back to my sister.
It wasn't very nice of you to bury her favourite toy, Wally.
I gave it to the fair folk, and you stole it back from them.
You don't really believe in fairies, do you? You're old enough to know better.
They're real, and thanks to you, I'm cursed.
Lol.
There's no such thing as curses either, Wally.
Go away!
Hello, Wally.
Go away! I don't want to talk to you.
He's just gonna yell at me. Can I look at Hole?
I shall name you Kenneth II.
Hell yeah. Okay. Can I... Oh! Wally's gone. Can I put Worm...
No, that won't achieve anything useful.
Okay, so Worm lives with us now. Nothing's wrong with the world while we have a living, breathing work friend in our pocket. It's true. Worm friend, even. Cursing everyone, killing worms. Listen, that kid had it coming. He fucked around with the Fae. As for the worm situation, I needed to do some science to see if I could put...
This is not mine to take.
Yeah, so other Kenneth died because he was in our pocket overnight. And I was trying to see if I could pick up a worm and then put worm back. We can only pick up worm. Worm does not go
This is
back.
not mine to take. The empty bucket smells of rancid milk. What a
So we have-
wild-looking thing.
We have a second Kenneth now. Technically a third if we're counting IRL Kenneth. But he's not here, so I don't think we're counting him as an actual person.
This is where I dug up Jane's ragdoll.
Okay. Well, we have a worm. Can I sit down? Think about Arthur's bomb. I got an achievement for that. I think now that we've, like, talked to Arthur about his mother. Thanks. Mildred? Margaret? Martha?
Thomasina!
Good morning, Arthur.
You look a bit addled. Are you feeling all right?
I'm
No.
not used to drinking as much as we did.
Aye, my head is pounding.
To tell you the truth, Arthur, I've had a somewhat puzzling morning.
Oh?
Someone
Also,
slipped this journal under the door of my room.
strip it and rip it.
Whose journal is it?
I have no idea. The text refers to some sort of excavation.
Well, Stanley must be playing tricks on you.
He swore his innocence. I thought perhaps you might have done it?
No, it wasn't me. That's for certain. Somehow I have a clear memory of last night.
Weird. Excuse me. Talk to me about the journal, Arthur.
I wonder who left me this journal then.
Mind if I take a closer look?
Please, go ahead.
The writings of a madman.
I don't disagree. Did the sketches mean anything to you?
No, not at all. But they turn me stomach. You might want to show this to Mother Mildred.
Mother Mildred!
Who's
I
Mother
love her.
Mildred?
Some think her a witch.
A witch?
Aye. She might be able to help you with the symbols.
Where can I find her?
She lives alone in a little cottage within Herne Wood here. You shouldn't have too much trouble finding her.
Thanks, Arthur.
You're welcome.
Thoughts on this stone?
What do you make of this stone?
It's a good shape for skimming across water. What is it?
I'm not sure. It was strapped to the cover of the journal.
How mysterious.
About last night.
I had a splendid time last night.
Aye. I even remember most of it this time. Thanks for listening to me going
This
on.
man has a
I
problem.
really appreciate it.
The feeling is mutual. Thank you too, Arthur.
I do like that they've become best friends, though.
Shouldn't you be manning the station?
The line is down. Track damage between Bewley and Bakewell. No trains for a day or more.
Does that mean I'm stranded here?
For the time being, Thomasina.
Capital.
We're stuck! Can't go nowhere. Tell me about Mother Mildred.
Why do people think Mother Mildred is a witch? Just because a woman lives alone in the woods doesn't mean she flies about on a broomstick.
There's more to it than that. They say she lays with demons.
Who are they?
Oh, you know, local folk.
Hogwash.
Some also
That
go
is
to
the
her for
third time she
potions
said
and
that this
spells.
stream.
Spells? Come now, Arthur.
Truth be told, she's a nice old lady. I sometimes see her foraging in the brambles around here.
Will she burn at the stake sometime soon?
You might think us backward in Bewley, Thomasina, but we're not that backward.
Sorry, Arthur. I only meant to tease. Goodbye.
Ta-ra!
Okay. We're gonna go talk to this weirdo.
Hello, dear.
Good day. I believe we've met.
Miss Thomasina Bateman, the famous antiquarian.
My reputation precedes me.
I can assure you it does.
And you are?
James.
Just James. I'm like 85% certain that this is Lord Panswick.
Are you a painter?
You see this beck before you? Look at the water. See how it tumbles and falls. I seek one spot on which my eyes can rest, be it a stone or a small corner of the current. I meet it with my gaze, and out of the tumbling and falling, a new land rises. I see a new world.
You certainly have the eloquence of an artist.
He just gives me the same vibe as that one guy from Vampire. That one dick head that we ate because he was bothering the flower girl. What was his name? I don't remember his name. I just remember him going, "I write about what the eyes can't see." That's how I know him.
What are you painting?
A new world.
Quite the ambition.
Indeed, my ambition knows no bounds.
Can I see it?
Not yet.
We
It's
eated him.
not
We
finished.
did. He was a
But
horrible
such a world
guy.
is not complete without you in it.
You flatter me, James.
Nonsense. Say you'll let me paint you.
Okay. So, when we did this yesterday, I missed his question and I said, "Why not?" Normally, I think I would just tell him to fuck off. But I'm gonna stick with, like, the responses that I did yesterday. We'll
Why
say
not?
why not,
Magnificent.
despite the fact that I do not
You
trust
shall
this
be
man.
the shining star of my new world.
I think
I
that's,
don't
like,
really
the
have
only...
the time now, though. Perhaps later?
Don't fret, my dear. When the time comes, I shall call on thee.
Capital.
I think it's, like, one of the only, like, big decisions we made yesterday, and I don't even know that this is a big decision, but we didn't get that far yesterday, but so I figure I'll just like keep to what we did. And I did ask him about
Do you
everything.
recognise this journal?
A place to keep one's thoughts and reflect?
Is it yours?
No, my dear.
Do you know anything about the
What do
stone?
you make of this stone?
It looks antique. You might want to keep a hold of it.
Do you know anything about Hobbs Barrow?
Do you know of Hobbs Barrow?
I'd like to know more about you, Thomasina.
What a
time do you like to
freak.
rise in the morning? How do you like your tea? What makes you happy?
I lied to him because I don't like how many questions he's asking me.
With 3 spoons of sugar and spending time with my husband.
You disappoint me. I sense no truth in your words. Are you a woman of dubious principles, Thomasina?
You ask too many questions.
Do you know anything about Leonard?
Do you know Leonard Shoulder?
A man of Bewley?
Yes.
I care not for the men of Bewley. Only for the visitors.
I think I made a comment about it yesterday as well, where he's like, I don't care for the men of Bewley, just the visitors. And it's like, why? Because nobody's gonna miss them if they go missing? So no one's gonna care if you do a murder on them? This man kills people. He and Mrs. Duplancy are both in on it together.
What do you know of Lord Panswick?
A fine gentleman. Now that is someone who commands respect.
Do you know him personally?
No, I don't think anyone can really claim that. But what a tiring subject. Shall we discuss something a little more exciting?
No.
Goodbye.
See you soon, my dear.
Okay. What are we doing?
The water is icy cold.
Are we just gonna keep crouching? What are we doing? Hey, do you want to see my worm?
I don't think anyone really wants to see my worm.
Thomasina, I think you're wrong. Okay, whatever. Arthur, do you want to see my worm? I have a
I
worm.
don't think anyone really wants to see my worm.
Incorrect. Ooh, also... Oh, hold on.
Thomasina, dear, come say goodbye to your father. Come on now, don't make him wait.
I don't want to.
Aren't you going to miss me?
I hate you, Daddy.
Those are strong words for such a
Savage.
little lady.
I want to come with you.
We've been through this, little bird. You can't come with me this time, but we'll go to Seaborough next month. I promise. Oh, what a dig that shall be.
I hate you.
Well, I love you. See you soon, little bird.
The way this man just rolls with these punches. You're alright, little girl. I was gonna say, Alan Wake 2, the DLC, the Lake House DLC, has a release date. It's coming out on Tuesday. So guess what we're doing on Wednesday? But it's the Lake House DLC. That's what. I'm very excited about it. Okay, let's go find Mother Mildred. Stare at that one berry.
Please,
Ma'am?
forgive my intrusion. Are you Mother Mildred?
Some call me that. I prefer Mildred Walker, given as that's my name.
Apologies. Thomasina Bateman. I think we met at Bewley Station.
I take it Panswick's men have cleared off. Good riddance. Those ruffians would cut their own noses off if he asked them to.
Dang.
I recognised you the moment I laid eyes on you at the station.
I beg your pardon?
Oh, yeah, it's quite a striking family resemblance. You have your father's eyes, Miss Bateman.
You knew my father?
Such piercing blue eyes he had. What a handsome young man. William.
Ma'am, that's my dad you're
here.
talking about.
In Bewley.
Oh, yes. A long time ago, mind. 25 years by my reckoning. But I'll never forget those eyes.
Lady really is just standing over here being like, whoo, boy, your dad was hot. It's like, ma'am, that is my father you were discussing.
Why was my father in Bewley?
You were helping Samuel Bryden excavate Hobbs Barrow.
You must be jesting.
Do I look like I'm jesting?
More about my father?
How did you come to meet my father?
One might say I have a reputation in these parts. Folks from all around come to me for help with their ailments. Hernwood is abundant with flora that, if mixed correctly, will cure almost any ill. Your father must have caught wind of this, as one day he came to me, asking for a cure.
A cure for what?
Your mother were with child, and she was suffering the most terrible nausea.
Adam.
I made something to help her.
The journal. This was entered in the journal. It belongs to my father.
What journal?
This journal.
Take a look at this. A passage recalls meeting a local wise woman to seek a tincture for his beloved's nausea gravidarum.
Aye, that's me. I made the tincture for him.
This is incredible.
You don't recognise your own father's handwriting?
It's been so many years since I've seen it.
Do you recognize this stone?
What do you make of this stone?
I-A-W. I haven't a clue. Perhaps it's an old folk trinket, or a talisman of some kind. The moors are steeped in folklore.
Do you know anything about the excavation?
What can you tell me about the excavation?
Well, not much. I only met your father twice. The last time he asked me if I knew anything about binding magic.
Binding magic?
He said he needed it for the excavation.
Hogwash. My father is a man
Fourth
of logic
time.
and reason. Why would he be asking about such nonsense?
Perhaps you don't know him as well as you think you do. Anyway, I know nothing of magic and told him so. He seemed disappointed. I never saw him again, but I understand the excavation went ahead. Samuel Bryden hanged himself not long after. Reason enough for you to stay well clear of that place.
Yeah. After the excavation?
You never saw my father again after the excavation?
No, I always assumed he just went home.
Who excavated Hobbs Barrow alongside Samuel Bryden and my father?
From memory, it were just the two of them.
I thought it was Leonard that was with them. Or did he just, like, organize it? Binding magic?
What do you think my father meant by binding magic?
I've no idea. He didn't explain more, and I didn't wish to pry.
This just doesn't sound like my father at all.
You'll have to ask him yourself.
I'm afraid my father has been incapacitated since I was a child. He cannot speak nor move.
Terrible. Oh, I'm sorry.
You said that the flora here could cure almost any ill.
Almost, my dear. But your father's affliction sounds beyond my abilities.
Hob said he could cure him, though. Well, Hob said he could help him.
The landlord of the Plough and Furrow told me about a folk tale associated with Hobbs Barrow. Something about a goblin. Are you familiar with it?
No doubt there is such a tale. Name any beastie you can think of, and someone round here will have a story about it.
My thoughts precisely.
Third man?
Charles Bryden mentioned there was a third man involved in the excavation.
Is that so? Well, you'd best ask him about it. He knows more than I do.
Fair enough. Do you know Leonard Shoulder?
Can you tell me anything about Leonard Shoulder?
I know of him, as is the nature of such a small town. I also know he invited you here.
Little escapes you, Miss Walker.
So they say. My path rarely crosses with his. Let's put it that way. But he's a nice enough fellow.
I see.
Do you know anything about Lord Panswick?
Do you know Lord Panswick?
I know his labourers make a mess of these woods, the brutes. The man himself hasn't graced me with his presence.
You've never met him?
Not since he were a wee lad. A maid brought him to me with a sore stomach. It were all the rich food they were feeding him, nowt more.
Thank you for your help, Miss Walker.
I like Mildred over here just being like,
I shouldn't enter uninvited.
fuck that little rich boy.
Miss Bateman,
Here for it.
Yes?
remember what I told you when we first met? You're better off waiting for the next train back to the city.
Why?
Something terrible happened to Samuel Bryden in that Barrow. Whatever they found down there, I'd wager it got to your father too. Tell me you won't disturb Hobbs Barrow.
I can't make that promise, Mildred.
Can't say I didn't warn you. There is something unnatural about that place.
I think we should
must
listen to
seek
the lady.
Understand the world by rational means, Ms. Walker. One cannot abandon reason.
Look, Stanley and Mildred both are like, hey, don't fuck around with that place. And I think we should listen to them.
Thomasina! Thomasina, come here this instant.
I'm playing with Josephine.
She can wait. This is very important.
What is it, Mummy?
It's your father.
Daddy's home?
No, my dear. I must go to Bakewell with haste. Miss Bowes will look after you whilst I'm gone. Is that clear?
Where's Daddy?
He's had an accident.
What happened?
He's come off his horse.
Silly Daddy. Will he be all right?
Of course he will be fine.
He
Your
was, in
father
fact,
is as strong as an
not
ox,
fine.
But I need to go collect him, all right?
Can't I come too?
No, dear. Miss Bowes will look after you.
But I want to come.
Go pick up your dolls, then come inside, all right?
Yes, Mummy.
Gotta go get the dolls so the foxes don't eat them.
Josephine, it's time to go inside now.
I don't have it in my pocket. That's sad.
Where did Mummy go?
Also, how is the game volume, by the way? Is it good? It like looked way too loud earlier and now it looks too quiet. But if you say it sounds good, thank you for the confirmation, Fruity. With like no complaints, perfect.
I helped him then, and I can help him again.
I don't know what it is about connecting my new headphones, which have come in and work beautifully and are amazing. The noise cancellation pretty fucking solid, all things considered. I don't know what it was about like connecting them. It like fully changed every sound setting on my computer with like things that it shouldn't have affected. So I had to like wiggle everything around a little bit, and I just wanted to make sure it was good. Arthur!
Arthur, you won't believe it. The journal belongs to my father. He was here in Bewley. Arthur? Hello?
Oh, sorry. I'm trying to remember something.
I don't think Arthur is okay.
What is it?
I'm not sure. Something in the woods. It will come back to me. You say your father were in Bewley?
Yes! Mildred said that he helped Samuel Bryden excavate Hobbs Barrow 25 years ago.
Well, I'll be. Let's talk about it tonight at the plough.
So I think this is like one of the last things that we did, aside from like getting the knife off the table from yesterday. And I just immediately, I chose to like start talking about my dream to him, despite the fact that he's like, we'll talk about it later, because he's acting really fucking weird. And I was like, I don't want to leave him alone just yet, so...
Arthur, I must tell you about the dream I had. I was at Hobbs Barrow and there was a creature. It told me it saved my father from something inside and that I would find proof of this in the morning. Sure enough, when I awoke, the journal was in my room. Mildred confirmed the journal belonged to my father. The creature told me it could help my father again. I mean, it was merely a dream. I don't know what to think anymore. Arthur? Arthur, are you listening?
No.
Fine then, we'll talk later. I hope you piece together your memories.
This has me very
I'll
concerned.
leave him be for now.
I don't think we should, but I don't have any other options. Just know, I don't like that we're leaving him alone. Okay. Let's head back into town. Let's
Good
talk
day.
to Mr. Kayshurrr.
Hey up.
Hey, any ideas about this
Look
journal?
at this, Mr. Crozier. It's my father's journal.
Oh, aye? Why are you showing me?
Did you slip it under my door last night?
Ha! Have you gone daft? Why would I have your father's journal?
Never mind. Do the sketches inside mean anything to you?
Looks like a load of rubbish to me.
Oh, he put up the fossil that we got him yesterday. What happened last time that we had to redo all the things, by the way? The upstairs neighbors were just being absolute fucking nightmares. Literally for like 7 or 8 hours yesterday, just non-stop running and screaming, and like I couldn't record anything because even with like sound suppression and stuff like that on, like it was picking up on the microphone and it was giving me an anxiety attack. So yeah, it wasn't great. Like it's never great when they're busy running around and stuff like that, but it was just like I don't know what was going on. It straight up sounded like they were throwing furniture or some shit. It was horrible. So we had to stop because I was dealing with some anxiety and also just couldn't talk over them stomping. It was bad. So yeah, we had to. I only played for like a half an hour, if that. And then I was like, okay, we got to be done.
I found out my father visited Bewley.
I decided we would just start over.
William Bateman.
It's not like we
Perhaps
made that
you
much
remember
progress
him?
anyway.
I would have been just a lad. What were he here for?
That's what I intend to find out. What do you make of this stone?
Don't look like out to me.
You know any folklore about the
Are
area?
you familiar with any local folklore?
Oh, aye. The old cobbler used to tell me some right stories. Swore he sold a pair of boots to a goblin when he were a young man.
A goblin, you say? I take
A
it this cobbler was a
goblin.
regular at the Plough and Furrow?
Never drank a day in his life.
Dang.
Sober as a judge. Have you been to the Devil's Toe?
Yes, I'm familiar with the cairn.
Some say they've seen the goblin's daughter there, playing her fiddle. Can't say I've seen her myself, mind.
Oh, tell me about this goblin.
Do you know any other stories about this goblin?
I don't have the time to be standing here gossiping about old wives' tales.
Mr. Crozier, I want to
Apologies.
know. Okay. And this is basically where we stop.
I'm having some trouble extricating a knife from a table in the Plough and Furrow. Might I borrow a pair of pliers?
A knife, you say? I can get that out for you.
That's very kind of you, Mr. Crozier.
Think nothing of it. Wait here.
Thanks.
That were a struggle. Here you are.
Thank you so
A
much.
knife!
Thanks for your time.
Aye. Speak to you later.
Okay. And now we're back to not knowing anything. Are you set up? You're not set up yet. We could go out to the Devil's Toe, probably. I mean, he mentioned it.
Hello?
Oh! I keep looking
This
at this
appears
grave.
to be a recently dug, unmarked grave.
Okay, whatever.
Excuse me, sir.
Who's this?
Yes?
Did you see a young girl with blonde hair pass by here?
No, lass. Here you are. Are you Thomasina Bateman?
Can I help you? Oh, no. Is this Leonard? That's
That's
fine.
my name.
How marvellous. It's me, Leonard Shoulder.
Heavens, I'd given up on finding you.
Please take a seat, Miss Bateman. We
I
have much to
don't
discuss.
trust this man because I'm still pretty certain that Leonard is dead.
You've proven to be quite the enigma, Mr. Shoulder.
I'm mortified. I offer you 1,000 apologies. You see, I've been bound to me bed these past few days with a terrible fever.
How dreadful. I take it you're feeling better now?
Aye. I were on me way to find you when I stopped here to catch me breath. I've not much go in me these days.
I'm sorry to hear that.
I were worried you'd have given up on me and left town.
Would've.
I had no idea what had become of you, Mr. Shoulder. I spent a good amount of time pounding on your front door.
I'm embarrassed. I really am. I've been doing my best to sleep through the fever. I am so very sorry. Please accept my apology, Miss Bateman.
Fine, Mr. Shoulder. I've come all this way. Let us speak of the business at hand.
Marvellous.
I've just learned that my father was part of a previous excavation of Hobbs Barrow some 25 years ago. Why didn't you mention this in your letter?
What? Where did you hear that?
I have my means.
I swear, Miss Bateman, I had no idea.
I take it you also deny delivering me my father's journal?
I'm confused. What journal?
My father's journal was slipped under my door at the Plough and Furrow. It wasn't you who did this?
I've been bound to me bed, lass. What an extraordinary coincidence. You are following in your father's footsteps.
And of
It
course,
seems
you
so,
know nothing
Mr.
about
Shoulder.
that. Letters.
Why did you invite me to excavate Hobbs Barrow?
I've always been curious about the colourful folklore surrounding the place. My father told me all sorts of stories about it when I were a wee fellow. Stories that some folk around here take a little too seriously, especially after those lads entered the Barrow a while back.
Leonard brings people here every 25 odd years to get them to go into the Barrow, to have them be sacrificed. I'm just the next on the list for whatever reason.
How did you know about me?
I saw your interview in the Bakewell Times. A young lady travelling about the land, digging up barrows. Perfect for the job.
But why do you wish to excavate the Barrow?
I want to see what those lads found in there. My curiosity has grown over the years, and now it is time for the mystery to be solved.
I must say,
Doubt.
I'm rather eager to find out what's in there myself. I've managed to find Hobbs Barrow, but Mr. Bryden is yet to give me permission to excavate.
Is that so? Keep trying. He'll relent eventually.
Perhaps you could have a word with him.
Oh no. A lovely young lass such as yourself has a better chance of changing his mind than a shaky old goat like me.
You told me in your letter there would be no issue gaining access to the
Yeah,
Barrow.
you tell him.
I didn't foresee any when I wrote to you. I'm sorry this has been more complicated than anticipated. Don't give up yet, Miss Bateman. Keep trying with Mr. Bryden.
Did you know my father?
I don't believe so. What's his name?
William Bateman. He was in Bewley for at least a few days, from my understanding.
I'm sorry, lass. The name doesn't ring a bell.
Uh-huh.
Are you sure you had no idea of my father's involvement in the previous excavation?
I'm quite sure. A most fascinating coincidence, but nothing more than that.
I'm starting to wonder if it's more than mere coincidence, Mr. Shoulder.
Miss Bateman, I did not take you for a credulous individual.
I'm none of the sort.
All signs point to an elaborate plot, a tangled web, and at its center, Mrs. Duplancy. I don't trust her. Tell me more about the previous excavation.
What can you tell me about the previous excavation of Hobbs Barrow?
Oh, it were 25 years ago, or thereabout. Back then, Bewley were undergoing a period of great strife. Samuel Bryden hadn't harvested a single crop for 2 seasons.
You have to
Even
do a
Hernwood was
sacrifice
sick.
every
Berries
25
went to rot
years
almost as quickly as they grew.
in order to make sure that
Folks
everything is
started
fine.
to believe the ground were blighted. Disease spread through the livestock too. People were going hungry. A panic set in.
That sounds terrible.
Aye, but I managed to keep myself fed. These things happen in nature, but the blame for it all fell on Hobbs Barrow. It was long said that a goblin made his home there. A rumor took
Mr.
root that
Hob.
the goblin were not best pleased with the villagers. In revenge for some unperceived slight, the goblin placed a curse on the soil itself. The villagers believed that ridding the barrow of its lodger would put an end to it all.
Hogwash. My father would have paid no heed to such tales.
Whether it were his intent to join the excavation when coming here, I do not know. But whatever it were that Samuel Bryden and those lads did inside that barrow, people say it did the trick. The crops started to grow back, and health returned to the livestock. Yulee were no longer in the grip of dark forces. You must understand. Here are
Excuse
a
me.
superstitious lot. They don't want you disturbing whatever it were those lads did. As far as the villagers are concerned, the problem were fixed. The thought of another excavation must be conjuring panic that you'll undo whatever it were they did.
This does explain a lot.
And it's also why I'd venture nobody around here wants you to touch the place.
Except for you.
I want to know what's there.
Surely you
Either.
don't believe these tales of goblins and curses to be true.
Not at all. However, I suspect those lads did find something in the barrow. But did it have any connection to failing crops and dying livestock? No. I can assure you there's nothing to fear. Coincidence reigns supreme.
So what do you think they found?
That is for us to discover, Miss Bateman.
Who was the third man
Oh
who
my
joined my
God.
father and Mr. Bryden on the excavation?
I'm afraid I don't know. Although I'd heard about the excavation and I were intrigued by it, I mostly stayed at home during that time. The atmosphere in the village was rather too tense for me liking. And besides, the excavation were undertaken with an air of mystery about it.
Either Leonard is perpetuating these sacrifices, or he actually actively wants us to disrupt whatever our dad and Samuel did to bring about the curse again. Because he is sketchy as fuck.
Tell me more of this folklore you mention.
It is said that Hobbs Barrow is home to a goblin. Everyone in Bewley has some version or another of this story. But the version my father told me as a child described the barrow as a thin place. The goblin were deemed to be the guardian of this so-called thin place.
Goblin?
Tell me more about this goblin.
Some said he were a mischievous little mite, snatching newborn lambs and smashing windows with pebbles. Others said he were friendly, there to lend a helping hand in times of strife. The latter of which makes it all the more surprising as to why the previous excavation took place. My father's stories put the goblin in the mischievous category. Sacksnot, he called the creature.
Sacksnot?
I recall one such anecdote, that Sacksnot entered Bewley and ordered a pair of boots to be made by the cobbler. However, when collecting them, he insisted on paying for them with a bag of sow's teeth. The cobbler was so scared of angering the goblin that he accepted.
A colourful tale indeed, Mr.
I
Shoulder.
gotta go talk to that
Has
cobbler.
any explanation been offered for why this Sacksnot cursed the soil?
I need
Your
those
guess
teeth.
is as good as mine, lass.
I need the teeth for my worm. Worm with teeth. Worm with teeth.
What is a thin place?
A place where one can walk between worlds, where the flesh meets the spirit world. Just superstition, of course, as you well know.
I had a peculiar dream last night. I met a creature at Hobbs Barrow. I suppose you might say it was a goblin. It told me it had saved my father from trouble inside Hobbs Barrow. I'll admit the coincidence of this is somewhat astounding.
A remarkable coincidence, but nothing more than that.
But there is still one thing that puzzles me. The goblin told me proof of its claims would await me in the morning. Surely enough, I awoke to find that my father's journal had appeared in my room.
Very queer indeed.
Mr. Shoulder, you invited me here, to a town I'd never heard of, only for me to discover that my own father was here 25 years before. And not only that, but that he was also embroiled in some sort of superstitious hysteria which goes against everything he ever taught me. Something is wrong here. This must be more than mere coincidence.
It's strange, I'll give you that. But please remember who you are, Miss Bateman.
This is my father's journal.
Incredible. Can I look inside?
You may.
Look at these drawings. Wonder what it all means.
You and I both. It all feels very out of character for my father.
I'm sure you'll find the answers beneath the soil, Miss Bateman.
Stone?
What do you make of this strange stone?
A carving of a cockerel?
Yes, it was strapped to my father's journal. Do you think it could have something to do with the previous excavation?
Possibly, though I'm not aware of the motif having any meaning around these parts.
Is this your glove?
I've been looking all over for that. Where did you find it?
In the alley behind the plough and furrow on the night of my arrival. Were you there?
As I say, I've been bedbound for several days, Miss Bateman.
How odd.
Can I please have it back?
Here.
Thank you. We're peas of the same pod, Miss Bateman. I knew you wouldn't be frightened by a few old stories. It will be interesting to see what those lads found in there.
Certainly.
Thank you so very much for responding to my letter and for coming here. We have some great discoveries to make, you and I.
I sincerely hope so.
And a chance to follow in your father's footsteps. Right, time for me to shift these old bones. I'm to take me a spot of the plough and furrow. I'll be there all night should you need me assistance.
Thank you, Mr. Shoulder.
I'm sorry again for giving you the runaround. I promise I am not beyond redemption. I won't let you down again. See you soon.
I was starting to wonder if Mr. Shoulder even existed.
I'm just surprised to find out that Mr. Shoulder is, in fact, alive, although still not entirely convinced that he is, in fact, the Mr. Shoulder I need. Could be a changeling, who knows? But Tom points out a good thing. The things that we know. Worms, they don't survive out of soil overnight. The church, a great place to steal jewelry from. Dad? Total hottie. Which I hate. I hate that.
The day was starting to test me. The word coincidence felt insufficient to explain what was happening. It was after that first conversation with Leonard Shoulder that I started entertaining thoughts of a truly irrational nature. What if my dream wasn't just a dream? What if it was all more than simple coincidence? What if that thing really could help my father?
Saxnot? I trust him. Oh!
Good day, little one. Hello?
I don't think she wants to talk.
What's this? A fiddle bow? There's no string. My name is Thomasina. What's yours? Don't be shy. I don't mean you any harm.
I don't know that she speaks. Thomasina is the thing. Like, it's not... I don't know that this is shyness. I think she might be mute.
What are you doing out here all alone on the moors? Do you live here? Would you like me to fix your bow so you can play your fiddle again? Yes?
Bob?
Hey! Most peculiar. Perhaps I can mend the bow for her. If memories of my childhood violin lessons serve me right, bowstring is made from animal hair coated in a waxy resin. The strings don't vibrate without it.
I mean, we could probably get some from the goat, although I think typically it's made out of horsehair, but I could be wrong. Violin bow that I
I've no desire
have
to lug a block of wood about the countryside.
is made from horsehair. Cool, great. He's brought his laundry in. I mean, he's not in.
Shoulder told me he'd be at.
Yeah, I know. He's at the furrow and plow. Plow and furrow? I don't remember which order they were in, and she literally just said it. Plow and furrow? It's the plow and furrow, right? Okay, what's here? Why does it sound like there's burning?
Mummy?
Oh.
Get away from the fire, Thomasina.
What are you burning?
Nothing. Just waste. Now go inside.
Is it Dad's journal?
Abrax.
Abraxas?
Mummy, what is this?
Waste. Burn it.
Was Dad meddling in some occult nonsense? Hi, Mr. Bryden.
Good day, Mr. Bryden.
Miss,
I'll
stop you there. I know what you're going to ask. No, I haven't changed my mind. There'll be no digging here, lass.
Mr. Bryden, allow me to explain. There has been an astonishing development this morning.
Yes?
My father was with your brother during the excavation.
Oh.
Yes. Can you believe it? I had no idea he had been here.
The answer's still no, lass. I saw what happened to poor Samuel. I won't risk the same happening to anyone else.
But...
That's enough now. You can feast your eyes on that hovel to your heart's content, but there'll be no digging.
But what if I gave you a worm?
I don't think anyone really wants to see my worm.
I think everyone wants to see your worm. What if I... excuse me. Cut the goat free. Oh, can I not? I thought I could interact with the rope.
What a wild-looking thing.
He seems fine.
Goat hair is much too coarse to be used for bowstring.
Okay, never mind then. They did talk about the postman riding a horse. Not that he's come back yet, but that's possibly a thing.
John Purchase, dearly beloved husband of Florence.
Didn't mean to look at that. Meant to come over here and go pester the priest. Oh, never mind. Okay, there's nothing there. Then are they in that side room? He said they'd be here.
It's locked.
Nope. Okay. Is Arthur still in the forest, just being weird? No, he's gone away. concerned. I wonder if Mildred has anything new to say. Fox? Resin?
The resin has set somewhat. It's firmly gripped to the stump.
Can I use the knife on it?
I've collected some waxy resin.
Great.
I have nothing else to ask for the time being.
Okay. Nothing else to say to Mildred. Understood. What about... Does the weirdo lord have anything new to say?
Good day, James.
My dear.
How is your painting coming along?
Quite well, but it needs more work. I'm aching to show you, but I must restrain myself.
Goodbye.
See you soon, my dear.
Okay. Well, hello!
Ninja Meatloaf is raiding with a party of 5. Kaysh and the gang welcome you.
Kimmerold, you're so loud. Welcome in, Ninja Meatloaf and friends. How are y'all doing? Let me get a shout out for you. Hashtag Loaf Raid. Welcome all. How are we doing? What were you doing? You were playing some Undertale. Nice. How was that? How are you enjoying it? Welcome in, friends. I can pause this real quick and just hop over here and be like, hello, hi, I'm sitting here in the dark. Cause this game, there's no good place for me to put my face cam while we're playing this. So, hi! It's poorly lit over here. But welcome in. You're doing good. You're about halfway through. Nice. Have you played before? Have you done the Undertales before? Hello, welcome in. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Kayshurrr. You can call me Kaysh. I use they, them pronouns, and I'm a horror and mystery game streamer. I like to play spooky stuff, and not just because it's Halloween. This is what we do all year round. Played it once years ago. Nice. Well, I hope you're enjoying it this time through. But yeah, welcome in. We're playing a game called The Excavation of Hob's Barrow. It is a point-and-click mystery game. We are a young lady named Thomasina, and we are here in a place called Bewley, trying to set up an excavation of a local barrow, but it's got lots of spooky folklore and mystery surrounding it, and nobody wants us near it. We're trying to figure out why. Because we play scary stuff around here and tend to have some adult content, I do offer content warnings for every single game. If you need to see those, you can pull them up in chat with !CW. They're also on a timer, so they'll pop up every so often. As a heads up, the Does the Dog Die page for this game has not been filled out fully, so I don't have a full complete list of content warnings this time around. But I still like to offer that there in case y'all want to fill it out while we play. And also just to let y'all know what kind of content you're getting yourselves into, because it's important to me that you make informed choices. But so far it's been like pretty mild as far as like trigger warnings and stuff like that is concerned. But yeah, welcome in, friends. We're happy to have you here. Ninja and pals, if y'all need to raid and run, I fully understand. It's important to me that you take care of your dang self. So if you need to get up, get some food, get some water, do a stretch, stop staring at a screen for a little while, totally understand, very much here for it. We'll be here for a good while. So if you want to come back or lurk or do whatever, we'll be here. But if not, totally understandable as well. I appreciate you bringing your community over. Yeah, we like informed choices. I like to help offer means to make sure that you're making informed choices. But yeah, like I said, it's kind of a neat little video game so far. The art is really pretty, really lovely. And the story has been very compelling so far. Attention! Bewley Station is closed for the time being due to track damage between Bewley and Bakewell. We apologize for any inconvenience caused. Midland Railway. Okay, cool. Didn't think that was gonna tell us anything that we didn't know, but might as well check. Game as a whole has definitely been, like, more laid back than what we usually do. There's a lot of... Everything is voice acted so far, which is delightful, but that does just mean that sometimes I just sit here quietly while everybody talks. It's true.
No one
If
here.
raiders want to see a worm, Thomasina is looking for people to show to a worm. She doesn't think anyone wants to see the worm, but, like, look at this worm. Look at him. This is Kenneth II, and we love him. And I'm hoping that I can find a thing to do with him before he dies in my pockets.
I'm still setting up my stall. Come back later.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, don't ask about previous worm. I'm sure he's fine.
I don't need to go in there again.
Never ask about Kenneth I.
Mr. Long mustn't be in.
That's probably alright. Mr. Long was kind of a weirdo. TBH. I could go into the plow and furrow, but I don't necessarily...
I certainly don't wish to touch it.
Poop? Why is there poop? Worm, do you want to go in the poop?
I shan't be dragging any of my possessions through that mess.
Okay. Excrement tends to mean horse, though. Is there a horse here? Hello,
Horsehair
horsey.
would make fine bowstring.
That's fair. Have a good lay down, ninja,
She
and
almost
thank you
took
for the
my head
lurk.
off.
Well, that's why you don't come up. Don't sneak up
I
on the
don't
horse.
wish to wake
Herbert,
him up.
does Herbert want my worm?
I don't wish to wake him up. No, that won't work.
Horse also doesn't want worm. What do I have?
That's not mine to take.
I know it's
The
not.
horse has been provided with some drinking water.
Excuse you, Thomasina. Kenneth II is a companion, not a possession.
A fine specimen.
That's what I'm
She's
hearing.
well looked after.
This is what I'm
I
saying.
don't wish to carry around my heavy excavation tools.
Okay, well, can I use...
I could certainly use the knife to cut some hair from her tail, but I'm gonna have to gain her trust unless I want a hoof to the nose.
Yeah, let's not do that.
I could tether a horse here if I had one. I don't wish to lose an eye.
Well,
I'll have to gain her trust. I'd rather not go into those...
Okay, so we can't go into the toilets, but that means the postman is here, probably. I do just want to see if she'll say anything new about the moors.
The road disappears over the horizon. I see nothing but moorland.
This horse doesn't. This horse doesn't love worms. Whoever told you that might be lying. Or maybe this horse is just being a contrarian. That's also possible. Okay, can I talk to the postman and be like, hey, can you get me some of your horsehair?
Hello there.
Yes?
My name is Thomasina. What's yours?
Ted? Ted Cross?
Pleased to meet you.
Hello, Ted.
Are you a local, Mr. Cross?
Oh no, I'm just passing through. I'm a musician. Just myself, me guitar and me horse.
If you're a musician, then you should absolutely 100% agree to giving me some of your horse's hair.
Are you a travelling musician?
Aye.
Yeah, hi, I require the friendship of your horse.
The lyrics.
What's it about?
You'll have to come listen.
Okay.
Is that your horse stationed in the alley?
Aye. Thistlecrack is her name.
That's an unusual name
Thistlecrack?
for a horse.
Aye. It was what she were called when I bought her.
Okay, but I
Glutton
kinda
would be a
like
better
that.
name. She likes her treats. But it feels wrong to change it.
No, Thistlecrack is kind of rad.
What do you make of Bewley?
Can't say that I know much about this place. I don't usually travel this far south.
I see. Have you heard of a place called Hob's Barrow?
Can't say I have, miss. What is it?
Never mind. Thank you for your time.
Make sure you watch my performance later, won't you?
I'll try.
Do what I can.
I can't think of anything else to talk about right now.
You could ask him to just look, instead of us befriending the big weird dog, we could have the man who owns the big weird dog just get us some of the big weird dog hair.
Found old Leonard, I see.
Yes, finally. I've had some rather unbelievable news, Stanley.
Oh?
Just saying.
Remarkable.
Quite the coincidence, is it not?
Remarkable. Just remarkable.
Do you recall my father from back then?
I'm afraid not. Those were my droving days, you see. I didn't spend much time in Bewley, but an interesting turn of events nonetheless.
What do you know of Mother Mildred?
I'll tell you what I know about Mother Mildred. She wants locking up.
How
Whoa!
So?
She owes me a small fortune on her tab from years ago. Do remind her next time you see her, won't you?
I'd rather not get involved, if you don't mind.
Be careful who you trust, Miss Bateman.
Okay, I thought he was gonna go all pitchfork and torches on her for, like, witch shit. But no, look, if she owes you money, I'm not getting involved.
Does the name Saxnot mean anything to you?
No, I can't say it does.
Goodbye.
See you soon.
Okay, does Leonard have anything new to say?
Hello again, Mr. Shoulder.
Miss Bateman.
Sorry, I have to keep moving my microphone around.
I've still not been able to gain permission to excavate from Mr. Bryden.
Is that so? Perhaps you could show him something that might change his mind.
I've still not been able to gain permission to excavate from Mr.
Is that...
Oh.
What else can you tell me about this Saxnot?
Try not to worry yourself too much with these old stories. Leave those to the locals, Miss Bateman.
Have others spoken of goblins appearing in their dreams?
A dream is a dream, that is all. They merely make for good stories.
I know.
But to answer your question, no, not to my knowledge.
Tell me about yourself, Mr. Shoulder.
I'm sure the locals have filled you in already, lass.
You cut
Yeah,
quite
they've
the
told me
mysterious
that
figure.
you were a
Most
crackpot
had little to say.
and a
It's
weirdo.
true. I do tend to keep my head down. When one gets to my age, one grows very comfortable in one's home. I like the isolation of the moors. I wouldn't change it for anything.
I take it you don't get many visitors.
Oh no, nobody bothers me. That's the perk of living so far out, huh? Just me and me hens. I used to come into Bewley more often, back before my health went to bugger, eh?
Tell me about Bewley.
What do you think of Bewley?
Whilst one could consider the villages to be rather unenlightened, this place has its charm. The market's in town today. You can see that folk want fun out here.
Oh my god, we keep opening up new dialogue options. Tell me about
Is there
Barrow.
anything else I should know about Hobbs Barrow, Mr. Shoulder?
No, lass. I'm certain we will know a lot more about it by this time tomorrow.
I hope so. What else can you tell me about the previous excavation?
I think I covered it earlier, Miss Bateman. As you yourself said, it were a time of superstitious hysteria.
What was it like, living in that period of hysteria?
I kept to myself. It didn't really affect me. My hens stayed healthy and their eggs kept me well fed. If one can keep a level head in such situations, one can get by.
Indeed. Is there anything else I should be aware of before my own excavation? No other ghouls I should be worried about?
You know the answer to that. The corruption in
Do I?
that soil were all in the minds of men.
Tell me about Lord
What do you make
Panswick.
of Lord Panswick?
His lordship is an important man in Bewley, as I'm sure you have gathered. His family has commanded much respect here for many generations.
Do you respect him as a leader?
I do. He
No.
wants the best for the village. Without his influence,
Debatable.
the railway line would have never come through here.
Does he want more visitors?
Aye, I believe so. He has great ambitions for Bewley and wants to share them with the world.
What do you make
Mildred.
of Mildred Walker?
Who?
I believe she's also known as Mother Mildred.
Oh, we used to get about when we were children. Our paths have not crossed in a long while.
Okay. Tell me about Charles Bryden.
What do you think of Charles Bryden?
He is a decent man. It must have been hard for him after that terrible business with his brother.
Without a doubt. I must say I had assumed you had at least spoken to him about my visit.
Sorry, lass, I had no intention of giving you the runaround. Again, I can only apologize.
And you're gonna have to keep doing that, sir. Tell me about your illness.
If you don't mind me asking, what is the nature of your ongoing illness?
Oh, just the ravages of age. Getting off this bench will be a small battle in itself. Something you won't need to worry about for many a year, Miss Bateman.
Growing old is a blessing and a curse. And what of your recent fever?
An ordeal it were. So much tossing and turning. But I'm right as rain now, especially after a mug of ale. Don't worry about me.
Worrying. Tell me about Lord Panswick's
What are Lord
plans.
Panswick's plans for Bewley?
He's rebuilding an old chapel on his estate. He seeks to bring God back to these lands.
But what of St. Edmunds? I think
Which
Father
God?
Roach might argue God has never left.
Indeed. Let's leave such arguments to them, shall we?
Okay.
Thank you for your time.
Bye, Miss Bateman.
Excuse me.
We will speak more later.
Okay. Sorry, excuse me. What do we have? What do I need? What do we do? Let's find some way to convince him to let me dig. Find out more about the stories connected to Hob's Barrow. Okay, yeah, these are... Huh! What do we do? Is he in? Is he in? That's the question. Is Father Roach in? No. Actually, I wonder if I could show that, like, that stone that I have to Mr. Bryden. It's like the only other thing that I can think of. Or just like sharing the journal with him, maybe?
What do you make of this stone, Mr. Bryden? It was strapped to my father's journal.
Wait a minute. Let me see that. By God. Wait here a moment. I need to get something from inside.
Hey!
I waited
that
for
would
what
do
felt
something.
like an age. I now realise that Mr. Bryden must have been in a great debate with himself, wondering whether or not to share his own piece of the mystery with me. The goat stared at me, seemingly in pity, as I stood there in that rolling fog.
That's just what goats look like.
Finally, Mr. Bryden emerged.
And?
Now then, as far as I know, what I have here is the only thing that Samuel brought back from Barrow. Take a look.
Incredible! A pear!
That's been in my drawer ever since Samuel passed. I suppose it might be important, so I kept it safe.
Kaz.
Fate is clearly playing a part in your arrival, lass.
Please, Mr. Bryden, allow me to excavate Hob's Barrow, a place that is no more than dirt and stone.
You're not gonna give up, are you, lass?
I'm
not.
Samuel managed to say one thing about those men that helped him. I think it's time I tell you.
Yes?
He stuttered out that one of those fellows could barely walk after they got out of there. Tongue-tied too, the man were.
My father.
You what?
My father. He had an accident around 25 years ago that left him bedbound and unable to talk.
Aye, could be him.
My mother told me it happened in a horse riding accident.
Samuel boarded up that barrow for a reason. Something unnatural occurred, I know it.
Mr. Bryden, we must rely on our rational faculties to explain any...
Fuck off,
Promise me you'll
Thomasina.
be careful. Any sign of trouble, leave without hesitation, and we board that accursed place up again. Understood?
But
Understood.
You're giving me permission to excavate.
Aye. Against me better judgment. I don't have the energy to stop you, lass.
Thank you so much. I am grateful.
Don't make me regret my decision. Take
You're
Samuel's stone.
Definitely gonna
Are you
regret
sure?
it, bud.
Aye. Give it back to me when you're finished, though.
I promise. Thank you. I'll be sure to show you my discoveries, Mr. Bryden.
I'd rather you don't. Now then, I've got things to get on with.
I don't suppose you can spare any labour to help me with the dig?
Don't push your luck, lass. Market's on today. Plenty of able-bodied men about. Ta-ra now.
You're
And
right,
like
Tom.
that, I finally had permission to excavate
This
Hobbs
Worm and I
Barrow.
agree. We must be rational. I love Worm.
As exciting as that was, I was distracted by what Mr. Bryden said of his brother's associate. There was no doubt in my mind that father was the stricken man he spoke of. You told me he was crippled after coming off his horse. Why did you lie to me? To protect me, to stop me from following in his footsteps. You failed, and so did Charles Bryden. He should have said no. He should have never given me that stone.
Great. It's not ominous or foreboding or anything. Journal stone. Hold on. No, okay. Can I...
No, that's not it.
Okay. I was hoping that I could combine the two, but alas, I cannot. That's fine. Really. Okay, well, we have permission, so I should probably go talk to Leonard. JK, things have happened. Mr.
Good
Kayshurrr?
day.
Hey up.
What do you make of these stones?
Don't look like out to me.
I met a girl at the Devil's Toe. She gave me this broken fiddle bow.
Ha! Well, you've experienced the local folklore firsthand then, lass.
Does the name Saxknot mean anything to you?
Never heard of it. What is it?
Never mind. Thanks for your time.
Aye. Speak to you later.
You need all four, plus a fifth element played by Mia Jovovich? Is that how you say her last name?
Hello, Miss Tompkins.
Hello.
We weren't introduced earlier. My name is Thomasina.
Mom?
Tell me about
How do you
yourself,
fare,
Miss
Miss
Tompkins.
I'm waiting for Mr. Ambrose. Have you seen him?
Who's that?
The milkman. Ms. Fenchurch will be ever so cross if I've no milk for his lordship.
I'm afraid I haven't seen him.
Uh-oh.
You are in the employ of Lord Panswick.
Aye, he employs Arthur Bewley in one way or another.
I'm in need of some help for my excavation. Do you think his lordship could lend me some of his labourers?
Maybe.
Might you introduce me to him?
Sorry, Ma'am, but his lordship doesn't take visitors. Any road, I must wait here for Mr. Ambrose. Ms. Fenchurch will be ever so cross if I've no milk for his lordship.
I got some sour goat's milk I could get you.
If Mr. Ambrose doesn't turn up, and I find you some milk, would you be able to introduce me to Lord Panswick?
His lordship really doesn't like visitors, Ma'am.
I'll take the risk.
Miss Fenchurch will be cross with me. But she'll be even crosser if I come back without fresh milk.
So, do we have a deal?
Aye. Bring me some milk, and I'll take you to his lordship.
Hey.
Thank you. But hopefully, Mr. Ambrose will arrive soon.
Have you been waiting long for Mr. Ambrose?
Aye. He should have been here a good 2 hours ago.
Jesus.
He's here every market day, you see. He sells only the freshest milk. Miss Fenchurch swears by it. I hope misfortune hasn't befallen him on his way here.
I'm sure he will turn up.
Oh, I hope so.
Are you familiar with Hobb's Barrow?
What's that?
Never mind.
Do these stones mean anything to you?
What do you make of these stones? Oh, gives me the creeps.
Why?
Dunno, just a feeling.
Who is Miss Fenchurch?
His lordship's housekeeper.
I'll let you know if I find some fresh milk.
Thank you, ma'am. But tell me if you see Mr. Ambrose, won't you?
I will. The
Can I
bucket
have
is
this bucket?
rusty and full of holes.
Okay, JK.
Can I interest you in a pie? Finest mutton in all the county. 2p each.
No,
I don't have
thank
any
you.
money.
You're missing out.
I don't
He's
have any
selling
money.
an assortment of greasy meat pies and Scotch eggs. Good day.
Freshly picked apples, miss. Would you like to try one on the house like?
Yes.
Yes, please.
Here you are, miss.
The apple
That is
looks
for
somewhat
horse.
rotten. It's riddled with holes.
Fresh Scotch eggs.
Good day.
How did you like your apple?
I'm afraid it is rather rotten, sir.
Hey up. That's slander, that is. Don't you be going around telling folk I'm handing out rotten apples.
I'm gonna do it.
The produce is not mine to take. Sacks of apples and cabbages.
My
They've all seen better days.
cabbages!
Good day.
Fresh produce.
What have you got for sale?
I'm selling meat, vegetables, and all sorts of herbs and things. You're welcome to have a gander.
I'll be sure to browse. Do you have any milk for sale?
Not today, sorry.
Goodbye.
Ta-ra, miss.
None milk. Who's this lady? No one I can interact with. Okay. Hey, horse? Do you want this awful... Wait.
The apple looks somewhat rotten. The worm has found a new home within the holes of the rotten apple. Hey girl, would you like an apple?
Gonna turn her nose up at it. It's a bad apple.
She is completely indifferent. Perhaps the apple is too spoiled for her liking.
Okay, well, we have a new home for Worm.
The worm is happy in his new home.
So that's exciting. But what do I do with Worm? It's a worm house. Hey, everybody, we got a worm house. We've got a happy worm and a worm house. Love worm house. It's exciting, I think. Wait. I'm gonna look after Worm. However,
I'm not sure they would be interested.
Do you want to look at my worm?
I don't wish to give that away.
Do you want to look at my worm? Nobody wants to look at my worm. I got a house for my worm. Why does nobody want to look at my worm? I'll never let Mrs. Duplancy near my worm.
I've no time for such things.
Ever. Window.
I can admire the crafts.
Excuse me. Father Roach said that he'd be here. And he's not here. Where is he? Does the weird lord want to see my... Oh, he's not here anymore.
The delicate flowers.
Okay. Can I have some of those? No. Okay. Where else can we go? Does Mildred want to look at my worm house? Mildred.
Hello again.
Yes?
Do you have milk?
Do you have any fresh milk going spare?
No, sorry.
Not to worry. Farewell.
Okay. Well, you want to look at my worm house?
I don't wish to give that away.
We're not trying to give it away. Thomasina, I need you to understand that I just want people to experience.
I shan't be visiting the badgers again. I was lucky
I
to
just want
escape
people to
intact.
experience Worm House. Very important that other people get to look at Worm House. Okay? I don't think it's that weird that we're trying to share Worm House. I'm trying to think of like where else we can go. I probably have to get milk from goat, right? But how do we do
I should
this?
ask Mr. Bryden for permission before attempting to milk his goat.
Okay. I mean, I think we should just do it, but maybe that's just me.
What do you want?
Can I milk your goat?
Fresh milk going spare.
If you can get any milk out of old Eunice, you're welcome to it.
Eunice?
Me goat.
That's it's a good name for a goat. Okay, hold on.
The empty bucket smells of rancid milk.
We're on the right path for the Wormhouse ending, rather than the feed apple to horse and get bowstring fixed and continue to proper ending. And that's good. Do love going for Wormhouse ending.
Hey girl, would you like an apple? The grumpy thing isn't interested.
Okay, look, there's all this produce back at the market, but I don't have any fucking money.
Someone has carved the letters AR into the stone. Finally, we shall excavate tomorrow. Though first, I need to find some workmen to assist me. Finally, though.
Okay, she says the same thing regardless of how I click on it. Okay, I need to get something to feed goat. I need to get something to feed.
Try my hand at milking the goat. Be brave, Thomasina.
I've tried! I don't have anything to give goat! Or do you just want me to, like, click on goat with bucket?
We're doing this.
Oh, God. Oh, look, it's Black Phillip. Wouldst thou like to live life deliciously? Hi, goat.
I'm not sure what that was.
I'm sure it's fine.
I don't know what's happening to me.
Stress.
All the superstitious nonsense must be getting to my head.
Are we gonna milk the goat or not?
Going near that thing again.
Bruh.
I should ask Mr. Bryden if he could milk.
Oh my God. Stop bothering this poor man.
Well, did you get any milk out of her? She's a temperamental beast.
Perhaps you could milk her for me?
I'd like to help you, lass, but I've just had a flare-up in me joints. I worked myself too hard this morning. I couldn't bend down to save myself.
Is there anything I can do to help?
My wife would say I'm beyond any help. I'm certain of that. But if you know of any remedies for aching joints, please send them my way.
I'll see what I can do, Mr. Bryden.
I'm going to rest for a while. Ta-ra now.
Mrs. Duplancy was a misdirect. It was goat what done it. Nah, goat's innocent. They always want you to think it's the goat. Mrs. DePlancy is using goat as a way to try and lead you from her. But it's her. It's always Mrs. DePlancy. Don't let her make you think otherwise. Okay, I have to go talk to Mildred. I need Mildred's help. Excuse me. Cause she'll know what can help. Mr. Bryden. Just as soon as we're done having a flashback.
Daddy, I have something for you. I do hope you remember it. I've taken great care of it. I'll fetch it for you now, all right?
Is it the vase that we dug up? Oh, it is.
Daddy, you must remember this. The day that started it all. It's the red urn you buried in the garden for me. My first ever excavation. Where should I put it? Mother took away all the knickknacks that used to sit on these shelves. The pot might look nicer a little closer to the light anyway.
The perfect spot.
It will catch the light from your lamp so nicely. There. I'm going to become a great barrow digger just like you. I hope the pot reminds you of those adventures we had together when I was a child, and how thankful I am for everything you've taught me. Now I must tell you about my visit to Pallinghurst. I found an arrowhead.
Aww. Mildred, I got a medicine question for you.
Yes?
Do you know of any remedies for aching joints?
You're too young to be suffering from this, surely.
It's for someone else, Mr. Bryden.
Yes. I know just the poultice.
Capital. May I have some?
Well, I don't have the ingredients, I'm afraid.
What do you need to make it?
It's a simple blend made of natural elements.
Excuse me.
Elderflower and flirtwort. I can make the poultice for you if you bring me these things. Then it just needs to be applied directly to the joints. That should ease his burden.
Thank you. Where can I find some flirtwort?
Flirtwort is not commonly found around Bewley. It's a perennial shrub that bears small white flowers.
I know where that
you
is.
might find some growing out on moors if you're lucky.
Thank you. Where can I find some elderflower?
There used to be quite a few elder plants growing here in Herne Wood, but they've long since gone. Nowadays, you might find the shrub growing within a hedgerow or a private garden.
I see. What does
Probably
elderflower
at the
look
church.
Like? Elderflowers are small, white, and grow in clumps on the elder shrub. Elder shrubs can grow in all shapes and sizes. Just look out for the clumps of tiny white flowers.
Okay,
farewell.
Cool. So we can get the flintwort from the brook. And I imagine the elderflower is probably in front of the church. We'll find out, though. Let's go get that flintwort first.
This looks like it might be elderflower. I'll take some.
JK. Okay, well, maybe the other thing that I need is here. Father Roach?
Excuse me, Miss Bateman. I'm in something of a hurry. But while we're here, Mrs. DePlancy has told me you were making inquiries into my health. Please don't go alarming the woman, Miss Bateman. She has a lot on her hands. Doesn't need to worry about me on top of it all.
Bruh.
My health is just fine.
You are not fine.
Do I make myself clear?
I didn't wish to intrude upon private affairs. I won't do it again, Father Roach.
Excellent. Now, farewell. God knows when we shall meet again. Which work is that quote from?
Romeo and Juliet. Oh, he's gone.
I don't know why he's upset. I mean, we saw what he looked like. Okay, where the fuck am I supposed to find these other flowers then?
William Paxton. Modest and...
Didn't mean to click on that. Back. Said I'd probably find it, like, out on the moors, right? Not likely to be here. Actually, is it near Hobbs Barrow? Go take a peek, since we're here. I didn't think I saw any flowers around here, but I could be wrong.
Finally, both.
Okay, yeah, no flowers. That was me trying to go around the barrow. And she said, no, we're gonna talk about this. Okay,
This is where I dug up.
Oh, maybe there's some out by, Leonard's house.
What a peculiar name. I can't quite see the resemblance.
Didn't mean to click on that. Chimpkins. Funny little chimpkins. Pick it up.
You're a sweet little thing, aren't you?
Okay. No flowers out here. Where else could we find some? Unless this lady has
Tins
some.
of corned beef. Ghastly. I have nothing else to ask for the...
JK. Okay. Could be in the windows, right?
These flowers look pretty. Someone must take good care of them.
No, never mind.
The window box is well out of reach.
Excrement.
The road disappears over the horizon.
Okay, listen. Ma'am, I'm gonna need you to kind of, like, hustle a bit more. You gotta find...
The produce is...
Gotta find those flowers.
Good day.
I didn't mean to talk to him, but...
Thanks for your time.
Aye. Speak to you later.
I would have asked him about milk, but there's no reason. We know where we can get some. I need to know where these flowers are.
My mother always told me not to walk on railway tracks.
Yeah, but your mother's kind of dumb.
Hello?
No one's there. Okay, I'm not entirely sure where I can find these flowers. Why is a squirrel here?
I shan't be visiting.
Ma'am, can you tell me where those flowers...
Good day.
Yes?
Where can I find some flirtwort?
Flirtwort is not commonly found around Bewley. It's a perennial shrub that bears small white flowers. You might find some growing out on moors if you're lucky.
Thank you. Farewell. What are those berries you're picking?
An ancient breed, however.
I see.
You already told me about that. Okay, so I have to go find it out on the moors somewhere, but, like... She won't... Thomasina won't go out... She won't go out very far. We already
took some.
Yeah. Okay. Where on the moors can we go? Also, should probably take a short break. I gotta go potty.
This is where I dug up.
Wanna look at hole again? Can I pick up another worm?
I've already taken one.
Okay, never mind. I didn't see anything out here. Is it near Goat? Goat, have you seen Shrub? Goat just wants to yell at us. I wonder, I could probably ask Leonard about it, right? Maybe? You wanna sit down for a minute? Sorry, I'm trying to get through some of these screens a little faster, because... Wait,
Not tempting.
herbs.
This looks like elderflower to me. I can't think of anything else to talk about. This looks like elderflower to me. The box is full of various sprouts and... This looks like elder...
But I have elderflower. Okay, sorry.
Various chards and beets.
Leonard, where can I find flintwort?
Joe, perhaps you've had enough sugar?
Don't you start and all.
We're starting.
Hello again, Mr. Shoulder.
Miss Bateman.
Thank you for your...
we will...
Oh, I guess I should probably tell him.
Mr. Bryden has given me permission to excavate Hobbs Barrow.
Marvellous. I'm sorry you've had to sort all this out in my absence. When do we start?
Tomorrow, I hope. But first I need to recruit some locals to assist with the dig. It's too much work for me to do on my own.
I see. Bewley has its fair share of strapping young lads. You'll find assistance, Miss Bateman.
Thank you for your time.
Aye, Miss Bateman. I'm looking forward to tomorrow.
Okay, well, who's Joe?
Hello.
Oh, aye, she's back again. Can't a man drink his tea in peace? There's nought for you here, lass.
Horrible man. How many more sugar cubes is he going to add to his tea? He'll have
All
no
of them.
teeth left by the end of the day.
I need
A
those.
heap of glistening sugar cubes.
For the horse.
Hands off me sugar.
I think this is supposed to be for all the patrons, sir.
I said hands off.
Come on, Joe. Be nice to our visitors.
Ha! This place has gone to buggery.
I just want... Okay, thank you. I wonder if... Okay, so we'll need to give Sugar Cube to Horse, which will then allow us to get Thing for Bow. And then I wonder if that will resolve the flower situation. But we are going to take just a very quick break because I need to go to the bathroom. So, BRB. It's My Basement was a wonderful little game. I really enjoyed that one. I think my internet just glitched out. Oh no. I was gonna say, it looks like mine's holding now, but that doesn't mean jack, as we know. Stream should be back. Are we not back? It says I'm live. Are we not live? What is happening? It is a distinct voice. Are you excited and ready? I'm excited and ready. Spooky. We're so scary. I vaguely remember what this one sounds like, but I don't fully recall. It's been a minute since I've completely... Also, I don't just do anything for bits. Hold on, did I not? I thought I went up there! Sir. Okay, I've unlocked it now. Because according to the encyclopedia... Oh, there goes my headphones. Got too aggressive with my... Please help. Oh no. No, Emmy, no! You don't get to push me like this.
I didn't mean to. Whoa.
I need that space. Give it to me. Boop. The infirmary right now. Okay, let's not be here anymore. That is the question, isn't it? I mean, you're the one who would have to hear it again if you clipped it. So, unless somebody else wanted to do the deed. I'm sorry I phrased it that way. Are you all ready for this? Are you ready? Has anyone seen the TikTok that was going around? It's like, I'm just a little kobold. Don't hurt me. I have 1 health and I don't drop good loot. I'm a little kobold. I'm so sorry. That's so loud! The game just... Gunpowder. Come on. Ouch! 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 No, I don't got time for you and your nonsense. Let me pick that up. Why can't I pick you up? Whoa. Like, we're only reading it for the first time. Am I a murderer?
Hear a lot of nasty rumors.
Are you gonna do anime villain classes? Whoa! Hey bud, I can see your insides. I didn't like that. Fuck off bottle. This 84-ounce bottle of big juice, which I guess could technically be bun juice. Bun juice. Cyril says, Titan! It's Titan time. Four, 8, 6.
Sandwich the discs on top of each other.
Yeah.
My PS1 game into PS3s, right? That'll work if the PS1 works with 2. PS1's gotta work with PS3, right?
We
PS3 is the worst.
3 PS1s together.
Just jam that into the disk drive. Nothing horrible could ever happen.
Oh, that reminds me.
I hope you like it. I worked hard on it. Just for you. Send! This is how you make friends, right? not less stone. I need all of it. I think I need to make some fences as well. You are helping. It's fine. You are helping. 2 polished stone. Okay. Alright. We can do that. All bits are the tasty bits if you know how to prep them properly. Hello, I'm back. The game is... There it is. Sorry that took me so long. I went to the bathroom, and then as I was, like, coming back into the office to keep playing, I realized I haven't eaten in a while. So I made a quick little sandwich. So I might be nomming on that while we do some things.
Here you go.
Well, let's let this horse do and eat as well.
Good girl.
Are we best friends
Hopefully
now?
That's gained some trust between us.
Are you ready to put it to the test?
I've managed to cut off a few lengthy strands. I must coat the hair with something waxy first, otherwise the string will have no friction.
Okay, but it's easier to do it once it's on the bow. Just saying.
There we are. This should make sufficient bowstring now.
Have we done it?
I've done it. The bowstring seems to hold on sufficiently.
Hey! Back to the devil's toe then? And then hopefully that'll give us access to flowers, because I'm not sure. I'm not sure where else we can get the flowers that we're needing. I've gone the wrong way. I have gone the wrong way. I'm just autopiloting a bit. Excuse me. It's over here. Hello, little girl.
Look what I have for you.
Oh. Look at her go! Girl's talented. My god. Oh. Wake up.
My head is spinning. What happened? Hello? Where did she go?
Away.
The girl left her fiddle behind. I'll take it with me in case I see her again. I want to understand what just happened.
She just did some magic. It's fine, I'm sure.
What a peculiar name. The Devil's Toe. I can't quite see.
I
can't see how that will...
Can I give that to the musician, maybe? I was really hoping that that would lead us to some flowers somehow. But, alas.
This appears to be a recently dug, unmarked grave. I may be a barrow digger, but I am no grave robber.
still sticking to the whole I won't do that nonsense. Alright. Sir, do you want this violin?
I'm not sure they would be interested.
I think he would be.
Do you have any fresh milk going spare?
Sorry, lass. I've none at all.
Never mind. Goodbye.
See you soon.
There's nothing else I have nothing else to ask.
Huh.
Jammed shut. The wood must have warped over the years.
Okay.
I've hung my dress inside. Aside from that, the wardrobe is empty. I don't wish to carry the bowl around.
Why not? Where the heck do we find these flowers? What do I do with this fiddle?
I've no use for ashes.
What the heck do we do?
The road disappears over the horizon.
I'm not asking her to, like, go super far out over there, but I need her to go just explore just a tiny little bit. Actually, hold on. Okay, I can't interact with that tree. There was a hope.
I have nothing else to ask for the time.
Okay.
Mr. Long mustn't be in.
I can talk to the man?
Freshly picked, selling them at a steal. Would Miss like to buy some?
No, thank you.
Perhaps you'd be more interested in a Scotch egg?
No, thank you.
Hello.
Good day.
Do you have any?
Not yet.
Oh, dear.
No sign.
No milk.
Good day.
Hey,
All I can ask him about is milk.
Thanks for your time.
Aye. Speak to you later.
Which is not what I want.
I feel I was slightly shortchanged in this trade, but I shall leave the fossil to its new owner.
Is the man in the church now? Mrs. Duplancy is in the church. Are you planning more murders?
Pet?
Hello, Mrs. Duplancy.
If you're looking for Father Roach, he won't be back until tomorrow.
Why? I thought he was going to be here to go over scriptures.
Where is Father Roach?
You might have noticed the good father has a green thumb. He's gone to visit his friend in the countryside to purchase some seedlings for his tower garden.
I'm sorry, Tom. Are you implying that that Mrs. Duplancy may have murdered the good father?
Where is Father Roach's tower garden?
Why, on top of St. Edmund's, of course. He's got a lovely collection of cuttings up there. You'll have to ask him to show you.
How does one temporarily murder?
It's a shame he's not around.
Well, he does have a spare key for the tower door somewhere.
Do you know where Father Roach keeps his spare key?
No, that's his business. If I did know, I'd fetch it myself and take you up there.
Not to worry.
I bet it's in that
recall him
freshly...
saying he hid it outside somewhere. For safekeeping, like. Were it in the graveyard? Oh, I don't know.
I was just about to
Just wait
say
till he
I'm
gets
pretty sure it's in that freshly dug grave.
I found out my father visited Bewley some 25 years ago. William Bateman, perhaps you remember him?
Bateman? William Bateman? I remember a William Baldwin. He were a right miserable sod.
My father was only in Bewley briefly, from what I understand. I'm trying to piece together what he was doing here.
You'll have to ask him. I don't recall anyone of that name.
My father took part in an excavation at Hobbs Barrow. Do you recall the excavation?
I concern myself only with matters related to the church.
Of course you do.
I'm sorry I can't be more helpful.
Murder relates to the church because a graveyard.
What do you make of these stones?
They are not Christian. I'm certain of that.
I agree. Much older, I feel.
Older than Christianity? Oh, the youth of today.
Mrs. Duplancy, I don't think you understand. Mrs. Duplancy only recalls the names of those she's killed. Can someone look into this, what was his name? Baldwin? William Baldwin?
These box pews are most unusual. I've never seen any quite so tall.
We Bewley folk like our privacy. Many of the pews are owned by individual families.
Some might accuse you of hiding secrets.
Now, pet.
I jest.
At my age, it's hard to climb in and out of them. I'd rather stand.
Does the name Saxnot mean anything to you?
Is that a village near Erdlaw?
No, never mind. Thanks for your time.
Lord be with you.
Again, sort of just ignoring asking everyone about the milk, since we know where to go for that. Excuse me. Time to go dig up in the graveyard. Give.
I may be a barrow digger, but... This appears to be a recently...
Listen!
I may be a barrow...
I'm gonna scream. Thomasina! Dig it up! I didn't mean to come over here.
In memory of Romeo...
Wait.
In memory of Romeo Hay.
Wait.
I think I can chip away at this plaster.
Because the man likes Shakespeare, right?
There's a key behind here. This has to be Father Roach's spare.
There we go. And then let's get in here, which is where the flowers that we need are gonna be. My god, she's going up. There they are. Look at them.
A small label on the pot reads Flirtwort. This is just what I need.
Get it? Take them.
I already took some.
Okay, it didn't look like he did. Thomasina, I'm sorry.
I should put the key back.
Should I?
There. I hope that stays on.
I'm sure it's fine. Okay. Off we go back to Mildred. Excuse me. Feel much better now that I've eaten.
Good day.
Hey, I got those flowers.
I think I have some flirtwort here.
Show me. Aye, that's flirtwort, all right. Let me know when you found some elderflower, too.
Well, convenient,
I have some
because...
elderflowers here.
Show me. No, this is not elderflower. It's cowbane. An easy mistake to make. The two look very similar.
Oh.
It's safe to eat, as long as you're not a cow. Very toxic to cattle.
Where can I find some elderflower?
There used to be quite a few elder plants growing here in Herne Wood, but they've long since gone. Nowadays, you might find the shrub...
I see. What does elderflower look like?
Okay, sorry. Skipping that because she's just telling us what we already know about it. And it looked like there was elderflower on that... what was it? That cart here in the market. Oh!
Hello, Jane.
Miss, watch me juggle.
Very good. Yeah, the market stall.
Very impressive.
I can juggle even more apples.
Mutton pies!
This looks like elderflower to me. Good day.
Fresh produce?
Is that elderflower you're selling?
Aye. Perfect for teas and tinctures?
Any good for sore joints?
Aye. Penny a bunch?
I'm afraid I don't have any money.
Sorry, miss. Does it look like I'm running a charity?
Yes?
Can we work something out? A trade, perhaps?
I deal in cash only, miss. No coin, no elderflower. What do you take me for?
Goodbye.
Ta-ra, miss.
But what if I got you something really
Hello,
cool?
Jane.
Miss,
Nicely done.
Very impressive.
I can juggle even more apples.
Okay.
Good day.
Freshly selling them at a... Would Miss like to buy some?
Mutton pies!
Heck. But you haven't seen this worm house. She's undeserving of the worm house. I was willing to show other people, but not her. Do you think Stanley would give us a
I can't
penny?
think of anything else to talk about right now.
Just kidding. Do you think Leonard will
can't
give us a
think of any-
penny?
I can't think of...
Will anyone please? Just a penny.
This cowbane certainly looks a lot like elderflower.
Can I swap out the cow's bane for the elderflower?
I'm not sure they would be...
Oi! Keep your grubby hands off me produce.
Sorry. I don't wish to give that away.
Okay.
I'm not sure they would be... I'm not sure they... I don't wish to give...
Huh.
I really don't want a mutton pie or a Scotch egg.
But consider... what do we have to do? Can't do any of these things until I do this. So how do we convince her?
She looks rather grumpy.
You have anything else to say about that?
I don't wish to
want
give
to
that.
look at this? Okay. Alright.
It's only thanks to Jane that I've gotten as far as I have in this enigmatic place.
What do I do? Where do I go?
That's a peculiar idea.
Your peculiar idea. Sorry, I'm getting sassy with Thomasina. I don't know what she wants from me. I'm doing what I can. Wait, we put the key back before we locked the door? Ma'am. Oh.
Father Roach has amassed quite the collection here. I don't wish to disturb it.
I do. I wish to disturb it. Do you think Mrs. Duplancy would loan me a penny?
That's not mine to interfere with. This
Unless...
must belong to Mrs. Duplancy.
Good day.
Hello, Miss. Do you have
Okay,
a...
I'm gonna...
I don't.
Not to worry. Thanks.
I'm gonna skip it, because I know she doesn't have any milk. I know where I need to go to get milk. But I just want that to go away.
In memory...
What if I...
I'm not sure what that would achieve.
Okay, never mind. I was hoping that maybe by interacting with all the other ones, she would find something new. Hey, do you want to give me a penny? It's for your joints.
He's not answering.
Fuck. goat doesn't have a penny. Can't do anything with the cairn. I know Leonard's back at the
Mr.
pub,
Shoulder
but...
told me he'd be at the Plough and Furrow. I've no desire...
Thomasina! Please. You have to do something. Where did Arthur go? Like, I know he was, like, having a whole moment. Kind of just being a freak. He's not
Hello?
here.
If I take the sign, how would the trains know where to stop?
Because they know the tracks? What do you mean? Okay. I'm a tad stumped. Actually, is the cobbler in now? No.
No one here.
Does Jane want to see my apple?
I dare you to juggle an extra apple.
Please be gentle with it.
Yuck, a worm!
Oi, put those back!
Sorry.
You'll pay for any damaged goods.
Sorry, miss.
Wait.
Hello again, little worm.
Hello again, little worm.
Hello, Jane.
Miss, watch me.
We're still doing this? Okay. Do you want worm apple again?
Very impressive.
I can juggle even more apples.
You want worm apple again?
I dare you to...
Easy. Yuck, a worm!
Oi, put those back!
Sorry.
Wait, no, I know what to do. Okay.
I managed to swap them without her noticing.
Despite the fact that she was, like, looking directly at us.
I'll let the worm enjoy his new home.
No! It just...
I'll let the worm enjoy his new home.
Can we at least put him somewhere where he's not gonna get stepped on?
I'll let the worm enjoy his new home.
Worm, I love you. And I hope you enjoy Worm House. Thank you for all of your assistance, Worm.
Mutton pies!
I'm actually, like, kind of devastated about Worm. I want Worm back. I miss Worm. I did it, but at what cost? At cost of Worm.
Good day. I have the ingredients you asked for.
We can go get a new worm tomorrow.
Hand them over.
And it'll be great.
There you go. Tell Mr. Bryden to apply this poultice to the area in question. It works wonders.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mildred. Do you have anything to cure a broken heart? Because I miss Worm. That's not where I'm supposed to go. Kenneth the Second. What a guy. What a worm. Love Worm. I thought about picking up another worm now, but I'm scared. Actually, no. Fuck it. We get worm now.
I've had enough of worms for now.
No! Thomasina! Would you still love worm if worm was a worm? I would still love worm if worm were a worm. I love worm.
I've got a poultice for your joints, Mr. Bryden. It was prepared by Mildred Walker.
Who?
You may know her as Mother Mildred.
Oh, thank you, lass. That Mildred knows what she's doing. I should have thought to see it myself.
She said to apply it directly to where the pain is.
I miss worm.
Swiftly.
I'll give it a try.
How do we go about getting worm back?
Oh, that did the trick, lass. I feel like a lad of 20 again. I suppose you'll be wanting me to milk old Eunice for you in return.
Please?
If you don't mind, I'd appreciate it.
A fair exchange. Stand well back, lass.
Believe me, I'm not coming an inch closer.
But I love goat.
There you are, lass. Some fresh milk.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Bryden.
We did it! I did it! Okay, now to go tell Mrs. Tompkins that we have milk.
I've got a pail of fresh milk here for you, Miss Tompkins.
You haven't.
Here.
Mum, you've saved my hide. Thank you.
Are you all right?
I'm worried about Mr. Ambrose.
He's
Anyway,
dead.
I'm heading back to Panswick Manor now. Would you still
Mrs.
like
de
to meet
Blancy
his
killed him.
lordship?
Very much so.
Now, I can't guarantee you'll be home, all right? He's a very busy man.
I'll take my chances.
Follow me, then. Come on over. It's not much further.
Hip. Hip. Gotta do a little hip. Sheep. Sheep.
What time do you call this?
Sorry, Mum.
Give it here, then. What the hell is this muck?
Goat's milk, Mum.
You daft bint. Since
Hey.
when does his lordship take goat's milk with his tea? Oh, he will not be pleased. Get back to your sweeping before I clip you over the head.
Sorry, Mum.
Be nice to her. Oh my god. What a bitch.
Where is Lord Panswick?
Sorry, Mum. I can't talk. Miss Fenchurch is ever so mad at me.
I know, I'm sorry.
I've no time for frolicking with the flock. How very bucolic. Miss Tompkins looks more anxious every time I see her. Some fine-looking flowers. Hello there.
Bugger off, you whelp. This is private land.
Jesus.
I was wondering if it might be possible to speak with Lord Panswick.
Are you deaf, girl? Don't make me fetch the guards. They're armed, you know. By Christ, you're like a dog with a bone. Do you want to get yourself shot?
I can assure you the
I
only
fucking
things getting
knew
shot
it.
around here are the pheasant. And perhaps the odd grouse. Greetings, my lady. Lord James Panswick, at your disposal.
I want to kick this man into the sun.
You're Lord Panswick?
As I live and breathe.
You could have told me that before.
What is life without mystery, Miss Bateman?
Oh
A
my
predictable
god.
stagger to the grave?
I was imagining someone...
Much older and far less handsome?
something like that.
See?
No,
I
100%
can read your
dispose
mind,
of
my
him.
dear. Now, may I ask, what brings you to
I
my manor?
hate this man.
I wanted to ask if I could borrow some of your labourers.
Oh, for what purpose?
I intend to excavate Hobbs Barrow tomorrow, and I'm in need of some assistance.
An excavation? How very delightful. We're in the middle of our own works right this minute. Follow me, Miss Bateman.
Bro, I don't give a shit about
Come
your
along.
chapel.
I promise I don't bite.
You 100% do. Don't worry, he don't bite. Yes, he do, bitch!
For generations, this chapel was a place of unique devotion. And this was until some of my more ungrateful ancestors forgot him and abandoned it.
Why did they abandon it?
Men of great wealth and power can grow so comfortable that they forget they still need the divine. The sacrifices required to maintain such a relationship were no longer being made. The chapel soon turned to rubble, and with time, even the villagers forgot him. His influence
Abraxas?
endured, but only with the isolated few who lived on the very fringes of these moors. Believe it or not, my family's fortunes have dwindled ever since. Since I succeeded my father, it has become my life's work to restore this place of worship. With this sacred place rebuilt, he shall be venerated once more, and the name Panswick shall be uttered again across all of England. He guided the hands of my ancestors. Now it is time for him to guide us. Bewley is a godless place.
Have you forgotten about St. Edmunds? Father Roach might disagree.
I shall bring him back to these lands, and this chapel shall be his seat once again. A new world.
But it seems like you wish to bring back the past.
From out of the old world shall come the new, a greater truth. But I digress. Horace, my dear fellow.
Aye, your lordship.
This fair lady here is in need of some assistance. Would you and your chaps be up for a spot of digging at Hobbs Barrow tomorrow?
Hobbs Barrow? Aye, your lordship, 'tis no bother.
Good man. You're in luck, my dear. These are my finest, and they're all yours.
Thank you. I am grateful.
On one condition.
Yes?
I've heard wonders about Mary de Plancy's Bakewell puddings. I'd rather like to try them for myself.
Then go buy one.
Your lordship, you're giving me the help of your men in exchange for cakes.
Yes.
But...
Farewell, my beauty.
Bro.
Wait!
I don't have any money, so you don't get any cakes, you weird freak. Why has Mrs. DePlancy left this insufferable man alive? What greater, more dastardly plot is he upon? And it's because he hasn't bought a cake yet. He has to buy a cake.
Is his lordship
in order for
joking
him
about the Bakewell puddings?
or in order for her to kill him.
His lordship is a man of folly.
How ridiculous!
He treats you all right if you do what he asks. Please let us get on with our toil. If you do as his lordship requests, we'll help you tomorrow.
Yeah, fine. Hey, do you have any money?
Good day.
Oh, another strumpet looking to find her way into his lordship's bedchambers, I see.
I'm nothing of the sort.
I've seen plenty of your sort before.
You would kill people who didn't buy cake instead? That way it doesn't hurt repeat business? No, that makes sense. That makes sense, but it's like, she has like a set number of cakes every day, right? She's talked about how like once they're sold that day, that's it, you're done. She's out of the like, we'll say like 24 that she makes. There's one that's marked, and whoever buys that one, their number's up.
That's not mine to interfere with.
It is, though.
Good day to you, pet.
Hello, Mrs. DePlancy. Do you still have some of your homemade Bakewell puddings, Mrs. DePlancy?
Oh, you're too late, pet. I've a few left, but they're set aside for someone else.
Might you please be able to bake me some more?
Sorry, I'm not in the mood for baking. Truth be told, my dear husband Albert passed away recently. Me thoughts are all over the shop.
I'm so sorry to hear that.
Aye, he's in God's hands now.
Were you married to Albert a long time?
Aye, too many years to count. He were the cobbler here in Bewley. The most dashing cobbler in all of England, I used to tell him.
That's why the Cobblers isn't open.
Love is precious, pet. There's naught that can replace the hole it leaves in your heart.
I can relate to that in my own way. I wish you strength in this difficult time.
Thank you. With God's blessing, I'll get by.
Okay, but about
May
those
I
big wall
ask
puddings.
who you have set aside the puddings for?
Oh, Father Roach. He won't be back until tomorrow.
Won't they be off by then?
Not at all. Besides, pet, as I told you, I'm not in the mood for all this baking chatter.
Sorry, Mrs. Duplancy. Thanks for your time.
She
Lord
can't
be
cook
with
until Father Roach arrives tomorrow.
That's not mine to interfere with.
In which case, she'll be able to shove him into a pie. It's a Mrs. Levitt situation. That's what we've got going on here.
I really don't want a mutton pie or a Scotch egg.
Temporarily murdered, holding cakes for him. Listen. Father Roach is fucking dead. Arthur?
There's nothing else
No,
I
that's a
wish to
gravedigger.
discuss at the moment. The simple wooden cross bears a small plaque, on which is inscribed the name Albert Duplancy.
Relative, are you?
No, just looking.
He were the cobbler. Who's going to mend me boots now?
Hello? Does this fresh grave belong to Mrs. Duplancy's late husband?
Aye.
Rather bare, isn't it?
My job is to dig the graves, not decorate them.
Goodbye.
Ta-ra.
There's nothing else I...
Okay, does Mrs. Duplancy have anything else to say about her dead husband?
Good day to you, pet.
Hello, Mrs. Duplancy. I saw your late husband's grave, Mrs. Duplancy. I am very sorry for your loss.
Thank you, pet. I'm ashamed to say I couldn't afford naught more than a simple wooden cross. He were a colourful man, our Albert. He deserves better. He loved his flower beds. He's only been gone a fortnight, and already his plants have gone to rot. May the Lord forgive me.
Plants are difficult to maintain. I'm sure Albert would understand.
His precious hippiastrum were the first to go. I would have loved to lay one on his grave.
What
What's
does
that?
a hippiastrum flower look like?
Is that the big red one?
Beautiful things they are. Tall stems topped with
Oh, I
large
think I saw
red
one of
flowers.
those.
Hard to grow in this climate. They were his pride and joy. The remarkable thing is there's no scent to 'em. That's why he loved 'em so much. You see, he hated anything that smelled sickly sweet. Hippiastrum were just perfect. Let me know if you come across one, won't you?
Of course, Mrs. Duplancy.
Guess
Thanks for
what
your
I'm
call.
gonna go do? Time to commit some vandalism. Alright, let's go get that flower.
These matched the description of the flowers Mrs. Duplancy mentioned.
Take one.
There's no scent.
You get away from my hippiastrum!
Apologies.
Move!
Well, that confirms it.
How do I get this horrible woman to go away?
I don't
With
wish
that?
to give that away.
Okay.
Good day.
Hello.
I really need one of those hippiastrum flowers.
Why?
It's a long story. Might you please be able to get one for me? Or distract Miss Fenchurch so I can take one?
Those flowers are Miss Fenchurch's favourites. She spends hours looking after them. Sorry, Mom. It's just that I'm so worried about Mr. Ambrose.
The milkman?
Aye. We were to run away together today.
I
Aww.
I'm worried sick that he stood me up. Without Mr. Ambrose, this job is all I have. I can't risk losing it over a flower.
I'm sorry, Miss Tompkins. I still haven't seen him.
Do you think he's abandoned me?
I think he's probably
I'm sure
dead.
That's not the case. He must have been delayed.
If that's
somewhere.
any
Could you
consolation.
try to find him for me, Mum?
Uh,
Oh, please, Mum. I'd do anything for you if you found my love.
I can try.
Oh, thank you. You're ever so kind, Mum.
What does Mr. Ambrose look like?
He's got brown hair.
I'm afraid I'll need a bit more
Yes,
to go on.
Is that all you're giving
Mum,
me?
I'm too upset. Please find him, won't you?
Okay.
Stop your nattering and get back to your sweeping!
Sorry, Miss Fenchurch.
I mean, everyone probably knows the milkman, right? I am the milkman.
Good day.
Hey up.
Do you know Mr. Ambrose, the milkman?
He's here every market day.
Except this one.
Aye. I haven't seen him today.
Any idea where he might be?
Not in the slightest.
Thanks for your time.
Aye. Speak to you later.
Okay.
Time
You
for a
know where he
juicy
is.
mutton pie?
Do you know Mr. Ambrose, the milkman?
Aye, I do. Why'd you ask?
Isn't he normally here at the market?
Aye, he's normally 2 pies in by now. Don't know where he is.
Hmm.
I'm sure someone around here must know where he is.
Goodbye.
Let me know if you get hungry now, lass.
Okay.
Good day.
Care to buy some apples?
No.
Do you know Mr. Ambrose, the milkman?
Eddie? Aye.
Have you seen him today?
No. Well, maybe his milk's gone off. I hope so. Might mean some of his customers have some spare coin for me veggies. Ah!
Goodbye.
You know where I am.
Lady went. Okay. Is anybody? Oh, who's that? Wait, who's that? Is Thomasina gonna weekend at Bernie's the corpse of Mr. Ambrose? Listen, if we have to, we're gonna do it.
My name is Thomasina. What's yours?
Ralph. Not seen you around before.
I'm just visiting. What brings you to the market today?
I purchased a Scotch egg for me tea. You want a bite?
No, thank you. Do you know Mr. Ambrose, the
It's
milkman?
very nice of him to offer me a Scotch egg.
Have you any idea where he might be?
He is usually here by now.
So I heard.
He normally arrives via the road to the east of Bewley.
Thank you.
Okay.
I'm looking for some help with an excavation tomorrow. Might you be interested?
Sorry, miss. I've already got my own job.
Enjoy your Scotch egg.
I will.
Said he comes out. Not the alley. Nope. Wait, no. Hello, horse.
Hey, Thistlecrack. Whoa, she's a feisty one.
I like Thistlecrack. Okay, we want to go here, because he said it comes from the east, right?
There we are. Your shells are looking much more interesting now. I pestered Mother for years to let me bring some of your treasures here. I think she's worried that I want to follow in your path. She has hidden most of your discoveries away. I had to beg her to bring me to visit you, you know. I shouldn't worry you with all that. Do you know that I have a story for each of these pots? Well, I don't know if they're all true, but they are my memories. Even though I was so young, I still remember our adventures together. Would you like me to share my memories of them? Well, I'm going to, whether you like it or not.
Lol. Too fucking bad.
We talked about this one already. The red urn you buried in the garden for me. It seems like such a long time ago. Mother was so angry when you brought this one home, wasn't she? William, that simply will not do. It's taking up all the space on the mantelpiece. Once you moved it to your study, I remember creeping in to take a peek at it. We found this one together in that mucky old barrow near Avebury. I think it was the second time you'd taken me on a dig with you. I remember you bringing it up to your face to look inside and shrieking in horror. "There's a bloody rat in there," you screamed.
Tee hee hee hee. Not the rat. I hope they
think
saluted
you
it.
brought this one back from a trip abroad. I would have loved to go with you, but Mother didn't want me to. I remember you being so proud of it. It looks ancient.
And this one?
You were incredibly excited about this one. I hadn't gone on an expedition with you yet. You were so happy about it, showing it to Mother and I. You didn't stop talking about it for hours. I thought, how can Daddy be so excited over some old broken pottery? But it wasn't long until I understood.
What am I missing? Tiny urn.
This is from the first dig I remember you taking me on. The excavation of West Kennet Long Barrow. I found it wedged behind a stone as you ate your sandwich. You said, "Now there's a tiny urn for a tiny girl." I almost forgot. While I was searching for your pots in the shed, I found one of your manuscripts. I thought Mother had burnt all your notebooks, but she missed one. It was an account of barrows across the east of England. I managed to read it all before Mother took it away. Daddy, it was fascinating. I've decided that is what I want to do with my life. I'm going to travel the country, excavating and documenting my own finds. Well, as soon as I'm old enough to escape Mother, that is. When you're feeling better, we can go out on expeditions together again, just like we used to. I promise you'll get better, Daddy. I'll do whatever it takes to make it so.
Oh. And he never woke up. Sorry. Alright, let's go see if we can find this milkman.
There's something ahead on the road.
Uh-oh.
My God!
Oh God! Is this because of the Fae?
Mr. Ambrose! I'm going to help you.
Oh, there's Herbert!
The milk is not salvageable. The cart is beyond repair. Let me free you, sir. Curses.
It's true. Why would Mrs. Delancey do this?
I can't even free his mouth.
I mean, no, listen.
Don't worry,
this is...
sir. I'll find a way to free you.
This is the Fae.
Bakewell, 32 miles. Bewley really was in complete isolation before the railway line came
in. As much as I would love to blame Mrs. Delancey for this one.
Bewley. Please hold still. I'm going to cut you free. He had been so tightly bound that I could barely cut through without hurting him further. His mouth was stuffed full of flowers of a most peculiar scent. I was dismayed at such savagery, and wondered if the feral folk Father Roach had mentioned were responsible for this abhorrent act.
Bro. It's not the locals. Well, not in the sense that you're thinking of.
After some considerable effort, I managed to cut him free. Are you all right?
Who were lost in visions of hell itself. The devil. I saw the devil.
Who did this to you?
I don't remember. Oh, the terrible sights I saw. I won't forget
Sights?
them till my last breath.
Are you Mr. Ambrose?
Yes, Edward Ambrose.
You were to meet Miss Tompkins today.
My love. Oh, my darling love.
Let me take you to her. Here, take my hand. As we made the arduous trek to Panswick Manor, I probed Mr. Ambrose on who had done this to him. He insisted that he didn't remember anything, except for his nightmarish visions.
My love.
Eddie! Jesus, what happened to you? Were you in a fight?
Now, fret not, my love.
I thought you'd abandoned me.
Never. Thank your friend here for helping me out of a bind.
Oh,
Literally.
Eddie!
Let's get out of here, my darling.
Hang on. You
Damn!
thieving bint! I'll have your guts for garters! Oh, stick it where the sun don't shine, you bitter old sow!
Yeah, you tell her!
The cheek! Here you are, Mum.
Thank you, Miss Tompkins.
No, thank you for finding my poor Eddie.
Aye, thank you, lass.
Let's go, Eddie. I'm never setting foot on this god-forsaken estate again.
Good luck, you two.
Beautiful. I wish them the best. Can I have this? No. Can I go in here? No. Okay. Well, we got a flower for Mrs. Duplancy. So, let's go. Excuse me. Ma'am, I have this for you.
I have something for you.
You found them. Oh, you dear child. Let's take them straight to Albert. You'll come with me, won't you?
Of course, Mrs. Duplancy.
And then she gives me a pie.
You know, the things I miss most about him are the things that used to annoy me. The click of his jaw as he chewed his sandwiches, leaving his tools all around the house. The way he'd never back down from an argument. He's just quiet at home now. Silence. The funny thing is, that's what he always craved. Peace and quiet. He were a good man, our Albert.
Sounds like he was. I'm so sorry.
Do you fear death, pet?
No.
Not at all. I dare say I won't be around to know it's happened.
But what of heaven and hell?
Life is for living, not for worrying about what comes after.
Albert didn't fear death either. You're both braver than I am.
It's not bravery. It's just
She knows
trying
what
to make
she's
the most
done.
of what we have in the present. One can neither live in the future nor the past.
I fear it, but my faith keeps me going. I know I'll meet him again, in heaven.
Take that thought forward, Mrs. Duplancy. Remember it. One day, you will be reunited.
Thank you. Oh, those flowers look beautiful.
They do.
Albert will be smiling down on us. Pet, I left my basket inside the church. You'll find some Bakewell puddings in there. You can have them.
Oh, you...
I insist. You've brought an ounce of happiness into my day, dear. It's only just that I return some.
Thank you, Mrs. Duplancy.
To be truthful with you, I was saving them for myself. I shouldn't be so selfish. Lord forgive me.
Nah, it's fine.
I'll stay here with Albert a bit longer. You go back to your day.
Don't
pet.
catch a cold.
Lord be with you.
And you, Mrs. Duplancy.
Alright. Let's go get those puddings.
Here they are.
Can I eat one?
Mrs. Duplancy's famous Bakewell puddings. They smell delicious. I've already taken them all. The basket is empty.
Why'd you take all of them? Oh my god. Okay, well, I have to go give these to the weirdo. Sweet, lovely Mrs. Duplancy. We've always liked her. Always said she's a good egg. Listen. I know what she's done. To be able to keep doing that, she can't catch a cold.
the vision returns.
Oh my
I
god.
come bearing gifts.
Freshly baked gifts?
Yes. 3 of Mrs. Duplancy's famous Bakewell puddings.
You are an amusing creature, Thomasina.
Don't get it
What do you
twisted.
mean?
You must think me a scoundrel of the highest order for asking you to undertake
I
such
mean,
folly.
yes.
Of course I would have lent you my men either way. I merely desired an excuse to share a cake with you.
Lord
Barf.
Panswick.
I take no pleasure in watching you scurry about Bewley to fulfill my every whim. Or do I?
Barf.
I do not find this amusing in the slightest. You have no idea what I had to go through to get these for you.
Oh, I do. And that's what I admire about you. Tenacity. Even in the face of something you know to be absurd. You don't give up, do you?
Never. Though in this case, I ought to have.
I'm
Now
gonna
then,
dig the
will
barrow
you
with this
share
man's
one of these
skull.
tempting confections with me?
Now's not the time.
Now is not the time, Lord Panswick.
You disappoint me. It would seem you don't find the rain quite as romantic as I do. Perhaps tomorrow, after your triumphant excavation of Hobbs Barrow.
Perhaps.
I hope staleness doesn't descend upon them in the meantime. Still, my word is my bond. Come with me to the chapel. I shall inform the chaps of their duties.
Thank you.
Sorry, with other people, other characters, it's like, yeah, I'll play along. It's fine. Not this man.
Chaps,
Screw
listen
this
up.
man.
You're to assist Miss Bateman's excavation tomorrow. What time, Miss Bateman?
Early morning, if you don't mind.
We'll be there whenever you need us, miss.
Hobbs Barrow. On the Bryden estate, if I'm not mistaken.
We'll be there.
Take your tools with you. Miss Bateman will need every assistance we can provide her with.
It's no bother.
Splendid.
Thank you, lads.
Now, if you'll excuse me, I'll see you later, my dear.
Thank you, Lord Panswick.
We're finishing up here, miss. See you tomorrow morning, all right?
Certainly. I appreciate your help.
Alright, get me out of here. It's time to go back to the plow
Well,
and
that's
furrow.
a relief to have my crew assembled for tomorrow. It's getting dark and cold. Time to head back to the plow and furrow.
And, we'll probably call it here. I mean, once we get there. Maybe after a weird dream. Owl!
I don't wish to disturb the owl. I find owls to be rather sweet creatures.
Oh, it's all foggy. Think that's Mrs. Duplancy? It's the cobbler shop. Alright.
Evening, Miss Bateman.
Good evening, Stanley.
Ew! Stop following me!
Stanley, my good man.
To what do we owe the pleasure of your visit, your lordship?
I've come to wish Miss Bateman good fortune for her grand excavation tomorrow. I'm really rather curious as to what she might turn up.
As am I, your lordship.
An exciting time for Bewley. Wouldn't you agree, Stanley?
Get this man out of
Yes,
here!
your lordship. Very, very exciting.
My dear, please, allow me the pleasure of buying you a drink.
No!
A welcome antidote to the wind's bite. Wouldn't you say, Stanley?
Yes, indeed, your lordship.
No thanks.
Miss Bateman, you're no fun.
I should keep a clear head for tomorrow.
Good thinking. In that case, I shall bid thee the fondest of
Get
farewells.
this man
May
away
you conquer
from
Hobbs Barrow
me.
and find all that you desire.
Thank you, your lordship.
I've reminded my chaps they're to meet you at Hobbs Barrow in the morning.
Bro, I just spoke
Thank you
to them.
again,
They
Lord
know.
Panswick.
Till we meet again, faites des beaux rêves.
I
Mr. Shoulder.
need Mrs. Duplancy to solve this problem for me.
Your lordship?
Rose. Is Arthur here? Arthur's here. Cyril's here. Okay, Leonard.
Hello again, Mr. Shoulder.
Miss Bateman.
I've recruited the help of some local labourers to help with the excavation.
Marvellous. When do we start?
Tomorrow morning, first thing.
Wonderful.
Can I count on your assistance?
Of course. I'll meet you here at the Plough and Furrow.
Thank you for your time.
Aye, Miss Bateman. I'm looking forward to tomorrow.
You've changed your tunes, Stanley. An exciting time for Bewley. I thought you didn't want me to excavate Hobbs Barrow.
Well,
Stanley's a yes man. We know this.
I'm fine for now, thank you. I can't think of anything else to talk about right now. I'll leave those two to their conversation.
It's the lady.
Hello again, Cyril.
You're still here? Leave me be, lass.
Yeah, okay.
Tommy.
Arthur! Oh.
Seen her.
Arthur?
I've remembered something.
What is it, Arthur?
Not here. Meet me outside, in the alley.
I'm gonna go out there and he's gonna be dead.
Drunk.
And
Let's
it's gonna
hear
be
what he has to
horrible.
say.
So I've kind of been endeared to Arthur. I want him to stop drinking. I want him to be okay.
What is it?
First of all, I must apologize to you. That night we met, when I vanished.
Yes?
Well, there were a man in the loo. A hooded man. He threatened me with a beating if I told you anything about what I saw.
Oh, Arthur, that's terrible. What did you see?
That's the thing. I hadn't the foggiest idea what he were on about. It was a drink, you see. I'm an embarrassment, Thomasina.
No, you're not, Arthur.
Here's what I need to tell you. I've remembered what he were on about.
He's gonna get kicked in the head by this horse.
Standing in the woods today, I knew there was something. I waited, I concentrated, and it finally came back to me.
Please, you're keeping me in some serious suspense here.
All right. It were a couple of days before I met you.
Hurry now, Leonard.
I'm not as quick as I used to be. This leg is getting worse by the day.
Yes. I'm constantly made aware of your failing health. Do not fear. You said he has promised you the reward of your returned strength.
Aye, and it can't come soon enough.
Are you sure that it must be her blood?
Aye, she's family.
And she gets here in 2 days?
Aye.
We must bring her to the site as soon as she arrives.
No. Your lordship, with all due respect, we've been through this. We need to ease her into the idea. She would laugh in our faces if we just asked for it.
Who said we would ask?
He told me that she needs to give it willingly.
This little scheme of yours better work, Leonard.
It will, your lordship. We've got the perfect bait.
Wait. Who goes there? Did you hear something?
Oh, jeez.
Ah, a moonlight tryst. After something, are you, Mr. Tillett?
Your lordship, let me...
Save your words, you drunken wretch. Off you go, skedaddle. Don't make me ask twice. I do wish you wouldn't spend so much time with that fool. It's beneath a woman of your standard.
Fuck you.
It's sad, really. That dog urine they serve here has rather pickled the man's brain.
You're being most unfair to him. Mr. Tillett is a nice man.
Come now. I shall bid thee adieu once more, for I do not wish for this to come between us. All the very best wishes for your excavation tomorrow, my dear.
Thanks.
Hate. Knew he was a freak. Is Arthur inside? I want to talk to my friend. Drunk as he may be. I'm sorry, is Cyril just sitting over there with his hands over his ears? Oh! Hold on, is anything else gonna happen? Is any other weird thing gonna occur? I don't want to skip it. But also, how long is this? Yay! I'm gonna go talk to Saxnot. Hey!
So, Thomasina, the journal proves I'm telling you the truth, does it not?
It does.
Good. Now listen. I can help him again. We can help him. Together.
How?
All those years ago, your father entered this barrow with the goal of binding me within it. All because the people of Bewley had gotten it into their heads that Saxnot were cause of their plight. I tell you, Thomasina, I were not. Your father botched his incantation, leaving me in this weakened state, stuck in this limbo. As for him, well, you know how he ended up.
This doesn't sound right. Incantations. My father is a man of...
You don't know your father, Thomasina. How old were you? A child of not even 5, 6 years? You need to enter this barrow and undo what your father did. The spell must be undone. Then not only will I regain my strength, but your father will too.
But how do I...
Blood. The truest symbol of life and death. It's the life which flows within you, but it's also death once it escapes.
I don't understand.
Worry not how you'll undo what's been done. When the time comes, you'll know exactly what to do. Time is short. Your father and I grow weaker by the hour. Go. Save your father.
Trixie! Saxnot's being Trixie!
I must undo what has been done. Father, I'm coming.
Okay, it just saved, but we're gonna save again. And that's gonna be all for today. Hold on just a second. Can I turn this on? Oh! Horrible. It's too bright. And now it's washed out. It's fine. We can stay like this. Yeah, that's where we're gonna end it for today. Yeah, I like this game. I am having a nice time with this. We will play more tomorrow. And I'm not entirely sure if we're gonna be able to, like, finish this out before Wednesday. I mean, we would have to finish it tomorrow, basically, is the thing. But as I mentioned earlier, what's it? Lake House DLC comes out. And so it comes out on Wednesday or on Tuesday, excuse me. Sorry. And I kind of want to get to that ASAP. But for now, go ahead and set up a raid. Okay. Does not look like I have many people on. It's not the worm house ending, but yeah, I'm sorry. I kind of ruined the worm situation. We love Worm though. Thank you, Worm, for everything. But yeah, we'll do more of this tomorrow and hopefully finish it out. Otherwise, we will finish it as soon as we're done with the Alan Wake 2 Lake House DLC. For now, we are gonna raid over to John Struct because he is the only one that I currently have online at the moment. So if you're gonna come hang out with us, the raid messages are in chat. First one's for everyone. It's got global emotes on it. Otherwise, second one is for subs. It's got our channel emotes. Woo! But yeah, I will see y'all next time. Thanks for hanging out and being here, doing stuff with us. Until then, we'll see y'all later. Bye, friends.